Excusez-moi. En français. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Yeah, utter wrong. I've got stuff to say tonight, and I want to get to. It's been quite the day today. Quite the day. I've learned some new stuff on here, so people that are very kindly supporting the channel. I've liked one. I can't see who it is, but anyway, thank you very much for your kindness and support. So tonight I did promise you a certain thing, and because of other stuff that's happening in the background, and I don't want to bring that here until tomorrow afternoon. But there's been stuff happening that I've had to deal with. Now, this is not an excuse. I can tell you that I've got a ton of notes, but so I'm probably 2 hours away. So the way that I work, and this is just parish notes before we get to 8 o'clock. The way that I work is I'll write everything out. And then I'll look at it and go, okay, that, and I'll put it into a written form. And then from the written form, I'll put it into keywords, hot words, however you want to describe it, so that I can present it to you. But this that I've simply entitled The New World State. It's not quite ready. So I've got a couple of options. I can either do it from my notes, which are not complete because they're not into the typed form and then into the show form. Or I can kind of do part 1 tonight and then part 2 tomorrow night, because I may do an extra tomorrow night. Or I can do it as a premiere, because I reckon this is going to take me at least 2 hours of presenting it to you. So I want it to be done right. I will tell you now that it is the New World State, and it's something that I've been, a lot of the background stuff I'm aware of and have experienced since 1989. The 90s was full of it on varying levels, and there was definitely free speech in the 90s. But now I have to be very careful, because I do believe that it may affect the channel and me, and or most importantly my family. So I'm kind of betwixt and between. I will tell you what it contains. Deep dives into dark histories of certain organizations, certain politicians, certain stuff that is not just talked about anywhere. It contains huge truths. It contains huge facts, because with facts comes truth. As I've said to you before, I want to give you context, to give you knowledge, to give you understanding, and all the key players in everything. And what I've done is I've looked at it. I've made some of it simpler so that you will get it and know it and understand it. So it's like the martial arts. The martial arts old adage is to feel it is to know it. So I can kind of give you the New World State light. I did promise you that I would give you the answer. And the answer's so simple. And we already have part of that answer here at the Theatre of the Mind. So I'm allowing everybody to get their feet under the table. I will have a look at some of your comments and respond to them, because that's what the parish notes is always about. I'm really happy to see that people come to the lives earlier, so I can speak to you one-to-one, and we can look at stuff and have adult conversations before the main part of the live at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. By the way, BTW, I am considering making all the lives 7:30. Simply because, and the only reason I didn't do that, and the reason why I started Sundays and Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, is because a lot of people are eating dinner, tea, supper, however you want to describe it. Oh, supper. Oh, Adrian, what oh? So I am in a quandary as to whether to do what I said I was going to do tonight, or whether I can do that, a light version of that, a lighter version, and kind of give you some stuff and rattle through some of my notes, because I haven't done anything else. I haven't looked at the news cycle today. I haven't seen, but I have looked at the newspapers and seen that Tommy Robinson doesn't figure that much. Really, Mr. Government? Really? I've also seen something that nobody else has spotted because I was on it. So let me just have a quick look at this. How do I need to do this? I need to do that. Thank you. So I'm just going to get right to the bottom. Nicholas, in the words of Ballymanilow, oh Mandy. Gary Shabot, 7:30, great idea. I mean, if that is, if the body of the Kirk is happy with 7:30, I know that tonight I wanted to be on by 7:45, so 7:30 actually means 7:15. Amanda Sky, welcome to the body of the Kirk. Les Griffiths, regarding Tommy, the fuller video is out exonerating him. So Les, if you can, I haven't seen the longer video, but I am exonerating him. Hang on, Amalia. Oh, oi, you're very early. Again, the very cheek hanging out me washing, but listening in. Oh, I hope it's sunny where you are, Amalia. They wouldn't. So we'll go through some of the comments, because some of them are pretty, well, they're very good, as always. But everybody's in the body of the cook earlier. So Les Griffith says, greetings all. I put a complaint into YouTube recently and got a reply this morning. Complaint upheld, which is a first for me. Paulie Galtieri says, welcome to the body of the cook, Les, as always. Paulie Galtieri says, good evening, Adrian. Yeah, Rogan. Hope you've had a good day. It's been a very interesting day, Paulie. Les Griffith says, position for Sharia law administrator advertised in Didsbury. Well, it would be in Didsbury, isn't it? Didsbury, Birmingham. Thank you, Les. Thank you for making us aware. Yes, Les, got it. Not going to elaborate any further. Des Ashton, hello there, everyone. Just switched on notification and found the chat running already. Only 4 hours to go. I hope you've got some Euro Millions numbers. Sounds like you've got your looks in, Les. Yeah, if you win the Euro Millions this weekend, it's Battenberg for everybody, Les. And breaking news, Manchester Airport attackers found guilty. We will mention that in a moment. And Les says, I think the convicted... Oh, right, okay. We'll chat away from here, Les. Right, okay. Rusty Mouse says, I've got me a glass of ale in readiness for the great awakening. It's more than an awakening. I do think that the audience here knows quite a bit of what I'm going to say, but it's the notes that I don't have with me are the notes that I've made about the dark histories and the deep dives and how the whole thing just fits together like a jigsaw. And they've been working on this for 50 years. They've been working on all of this since after the Second World War. So that's why I'm saying I will do some stuff, but I'll try my best to weave it together for you and do a couple of hours for you. Rusty Mouse says, what's the pink label and number by the side of my name? It's you're the second best. You're the second most prolific commenter tonight, Rusty Mouse. Never had this before. Anybody? And then you found out. Neil Cunningham says... good evening all. The body of the Kirk showing their support for the people of Southport restored my faith in humanity. Thank you one and all. No, thank you, Neil. Thank you very much for doing what you did and taking some flowers to lay in Southport. It's... Let me just make a note while I talk about this, because I don't... well, I just don't want to do certain things for varying reasons. But thank you, Neil. Really appreciated it. Les says, not teasing. Can't see anything at all. Not first for you, Les. You, Les? Isn't that what they charge in London? Did anyone know at present there are 104 different spoken languages in London? Next year, the government are hoping to make it 105 with the introduction of English. That's very good, Neil. That's very good. Oh, by the way, there's over 1,000 on the dinghies coming across from France. I was made to believe that earlier there was, let's have a think, there was 350 in British waters. There were 200 in French waters, following the 350 in English waters, and there was another couple of hundred on the beaches, and this was around lunchtime. So the reason why they're coming across today is because the weather forecasting is over the next few days. The English Channel is going to be quite choppy and quite a risk. So from tomorrow, the swell's going to be up, and it doesn't come back down until Monday or Tuesday next week. So you won't see any reportage on that until next week. But today, and how do they? We're told they're raggy ass Afghans, and camel shaggers and stuff, and they're just jumping in a dinghy, and they're coming across the channel because they're paying all these the people that organise it to the gangs, and all that money that they're paying them. Well, it seems that the gangs have got better weather forecasts than our bloody weather forecasters. So they have the equivalent of what the government has, as in like the politicians and stuff, the Prime Minister and stuff. So they know what is going on, and they know what the weather's going to be, so they know when they're all going to come across. I'm telling you. Did the RNLI escort them in too? Oh, my Stephen. So if the RNLI escort them in, that means the royal family makes money from it, because you know that every time the RNLI launch, they go across the foreshore on this sceptred isle, and every time they do, they have to pay the royal family bunts, moolah, money. Genuinely, the bloody royal family own it, man. So every time RNLI launch, William, is that another beer? So there's another 1,000 come in today. Easily another 1,000. And that's facts. I'm not making it up. Andrew James says, the First Lady has made a buffet for the flock tonight. Help yourself. Oh, I say. Prawn cocktail, smoked mackerel on toast, pate on toast, buffalo wings, pizza, wine, Battenberg, sausage, ragu, and ice cream. Oh, I say. Are you offering sausage to everyone, Andrew? Very nice. Stuart's in the body of the cook. Evening, Rev. Evening, all. Looking forward to this one. I see Sister Mary has started early. She's kicking off in the beer garden. She might have had a small tincture. That's a euphemism before you start, because, well, you know what they're like in the cucumber patch. Evening, Stuart and Andrew, and Rusty Mouse, and hang on. Very slow coverage of the attacks in London. No description, saying yet again it is non-letter between S and U related. So have there been attacks, Rusty Mouse, in London? As I say, I haven't really been doing my usual reportage thing. So let's get... So welcome everybody to the Body of the Kirk. We've got enough in. No black pudding on sticks. Oh, I say, Bad Wolf Project. Kerry Hawkins, so sad to see Ozzy in Brum today. Sharon looked so bad, her legs went from under her. Yeah... Jean Psychic says she fell off her bike in a ditch to get here. Well done, well done, well done. Good evening, everyone, from Brit 2014. Tina Barrick, hope you're okay, Jean Psychic. Ray Norton, I hope those dinghies ain't overcrowded as Labour don't want. Well, you know what they're like. Evening, you rotter, says. No, it's wrong, Simon Clarkson. But welcome to the Body of the Kirk. So, said hello to everyone, Manda Sky, and I see you. And Totler69, where'd they put the dinghy? Sink them, bring them back to port, or do they give them back to France? Nobody says anything. Rich says 1,000 at £800 per person per week. Ooh, somebody's on an earner. But like I say, how comes those on the dinghies are getting better weather forecasts than the government? They know exactly what the deal is, so they're trying to get them across today because the water's calmer, and calmer, not with a K, and they're over the weekend, they're not going to be able to send anybody across because loads of people will drown and die. So, as I say, welcome everyone to the Body of the Kirk. What did I want to say? Welcome, Ian McGee. Evening, Martine. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Phil Sumner says, sad times, Adrian, for our legends. James Whale is not long for this world. Followed him for over 30 years. Me too, Phil. I remember I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about when we first heard James Whale, and it must have been in the 70s. He did Night Owls on Metro, and literally we were at school. I must have been 14 or 15 when we heard him. But it was listening to him in all of his pomp. He must have been in his 20s at that point. But he was, all of a sudden the clouds parted, the sun started shining, and James Whale was on the radio. Couldn't miss it. Literally couldn't miss it. So I know it's very sad, but as I've said many times before, some of the romanticism has gone out of radio, but the old boys that are still around, we should revere them now, not when they pass. Gene Psychic. By the way, I channeled John Lennon today. He's pissed off with all that's going on. I bet he is, Gene. I bet he is. My hero, John Lennon. Night Owls with Alan Robson and the Blade. Super quizzes. Oh yes, all those. All those. Captain Pugwash says, before we get into this, what's your opinion on the banning of ninja swords? They were useful for defending against house invasions or violent burglaries. Wow, English bottle cap. I'll leave that there. English bottle cap. I will respond to Captain Pugwash before we get into all the stuff. I think it's very unfair that the government has decided to not ban machetes, to ban something they're calling ninja swords. Now, technically, there is a marked difference between what you term a ninja sword, which is straight, to a katana, which the samurai wore along with tanto and wakizashi. So katana is 36 inches long, so it's a long-range weapon. The wakizashi is, I think, 18 to 24, which is a medium-range weapon, and the tanto is for close quarter combat. I think it's very unfair, and most people that train with... so I will tell you this. Within ninjutsu and in my flavor of ninjutsu, which is the Bajinkan Brian Dojo, and the way we train is that the swords, for most of the 36 inches, I think about 34 inches, they're not sharp. They can't do any damage whatsoever. It's the cutting arc of the sword and the last couple of inches that cause the damage. The ninja swords are just a straight version of the katana. So what are they going to do? Are the police going to look at a katana and go, that's a ninja sword? Well, technically it's not, mate. It's a katana. Katana's curved, and it has, those that know, and along the blade, the whole length of the blade is a piece cut out, because without going into too much detail, if you use it as a stabbing implement, once you stab it into a body, the body closes onto the katana, and you can't get it. Well, you wouldn't be able to get it out if it doesn't have this almost ream running the full length of the blade. To get it out of a human, you need to have that, because it stops the suction of the body. And that's why I know that I've studied as a swordsman. You can call me a swordsman, Mrs. Ian McGee says, will it include fencing? That competition will be gone. But if you have to stand there and argue the difference between a ninja sword, because that's technically what they've said they're going to ban, then the cops are not going to know. But what I will tell you is a bokken is a wooden replica, and a bokken used correctly is as vicious as a katana. Because some very artful swordsman, and a swordsman is always right-handed, which is why it's carried on the left hip, so you can cut, done. So, evening, Marco. John Lennon is my hero too. Not good, though, when your parents called you Mark Chapman. Not guilty though. I was born in 75. Marco, I feel your pain. Adrian, have you got throwing stars? No, I've got credit cards, and you don't need throwing stars. That's just Hollywood stuff. I mean, I have kind of said this before, and a lot of people laugh, but you can kill someone with a credit card. I mean, I know you might put them in debt and stuff, but it's always the intent. So you can, nails, same as throwing stars. You can adapt them to just chuck them, and they'll go right through the clothing with intent. So I have used throwing stars. I have used them in the past. I've used all the bladed weapons and items. So I think everyone's in the body of the Kirk. Let's get to the bomb. Oh, yes. Andrew James says, there was a time when people bought and owned katanas due to the Highlander movies. However, crims will use any sharp instrument to cause harm. Why are the government so out of touch and weak? Because they need to look like they're doing something and they're not. Bunch of arseholes. Talking of Tommy Robinson, as we were earlier, so I've asked, hopefully Les will send me the longer video, which completely exonerates Tommy. I will tell you that it's in St Pancras where this happened. So the detail that I heard, that Tommy Robinson or Stephen Yaxley Lennon, whichever way you go, and he'd 5 times he told the boy to back off. Seemingly the boy was intoxicated, and he told the boy to back off. And the boy was trying to, and hopefully this video that Les is talking about will completely bring clarity to this. He was trying to stab him in the head. And Tommy's just defended himself appropriately and proportionately. If he's told him 5 times to back off, and the boy, the guy that ended up on the floor, because I'm not going to call him a victim, boy that ended up on the floor, he was unconscious, but he was intoxicated from what I'd heard. So if you proportionately respond to any threat and you say back off, back off, back off, and there's video footage, then this kid that is thought he was going to be clever, I don't know whether it was in the intoxication or whether there was other things at play there. Stupidity, if you ask me. Les Griffiths, you are quite right, Les. Regardless, Tommy is a marked man. They want him gone. So my clue to you is, so I saw a video of Tommy who landed at, if you're aware of this channel, London Real. And London Real, I'm very well aware of the owner of the channel, and I'm very well aware of the channel itself, because it was demonetized. And he was screaming, free speech, free speech, free speech. Gene, he might be, but I know that he's got ties, shall we say. Napoleon blown apart. I was frying donuts. What did I miss? Everything. Napoleon blown apart. And so I've seen the shorter video, and I did ask myself this question, because I know for a fact that there is CCTV everywhere in St Pancras. I mean, everywhere, including the hotel above it, everywhere. Because obviously that's where the Euro star comes in and out of. So, interesting what you're saying. So Adam, well, I'm with you, if you remember. And I'm not going to go into Brian Rose per se, but Tommy had got to London Real and was doing, because I've watched it for years and years and years. I mean, before lockdown, and he was demonetized by YouTube and went away and did stuff, and I just thought, no. But he made quite the killing financially. I mean, he's a money boy, MIT, but so Tommy arrived there And the thing that alerted me was he was doing kind of piece to camera, and he was doing, oh, there's this office and stuff, and the studio and stuff. But he had a mark in his forehead, and it was bleeding. Not sufficiently that it needed stitching, but it corroborated. And I didn't know this at the time. I just saw Tommy doing his thing, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Why are you bleeding? I initially thought, oh, he's knocked the top off a spot or something, and there's something really not right. So I kind of watched it. It was short on YouTube, I think, or might have been Facebook Reels. I'm not quite sure. But Tommy showed the background of London Real and the lookout from where the office is, which has a nice view of London, and a little bit of Brian Rose there. So he was evidently there for an interview. Now, the incident at St Pancras must have happened before he went to London Real. So I would suggest that Tommy was very well aware that he had a meeting to be at because they were going to record an interview. So that may have explained him leaving St Pancras and going wherever he needed to go. Some people were like, oh, he's ran off, he's left the country. Well, he came to do an interview, and the flight out of wherever in London would have already been prearranged. So maybe he's just come into the country, he's had meetings all day, he's done the interview in the afternoon, he's only been in London for a day, and then he's left. But this mark on his forehead corroborates that he was attacked, because there's absolutely no way that you get that kind of mark on your forehead and bleed out on your forehead to that extent unless you've been attacked. So I'm very interested to see the video, Les. Very, very interested to see it. And I do hope it exonerates him. But as people are saying in the chat, cheers, Les. Really appreciate that. No, he didn't, Stuart. He didn't. I would suggest he didn't flee the country. I would suggest that whomever it was has attacked him. He's defended himself proportionately and appropriately. But if he felt threatened by somebody who was trying to stab him, then look. If the threat is violent enough, you've got to match that proportionately. You've got to match it. And as we're taught in ninjutsu, it's better to be tried by a jury than harmed by one. So if I was in exactly the same position, I would have taken exactly the same course of action. And I hope that the video so I hope it all becomes clear. Like the Manchester airport video, it was, oh, the police. Everybody was very quick to criticise the police. Rah, 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 rah. And what? Oh, I say, there's more video. Oh, there's more video. And in a court of law, by a jury, they've been found guilty. I'm not sure if it's both of them, certainly one of them. That's it. Rich says, better to be tried by 10 than buried by 6. Yes, very good. Very, very good. So that London Reel, I think, was after the event at St Pancras. And Tommy has a mark on his forehead. Control or delete. I heard that it was Tommy who called the police. Maybe. Not gospel, though. I know listening to the video, there was a lot of commotion, and he was just saying, he came at me, bruv. So evidently, that mark on his forehead was what the boy did to him. And quite rightly, if anybody gets a bit silly, then you just have to deal with them and then speak with the police afterwards. And if the video completely exonerates Tommy, wonderful. And maybe that's why the mainstream press didn't carry it, or didn't put further marks on his back. Alan Little says, preemptive strike is fine as long as you can justify it. Of course. If somebody's trying to stab me, well, then I'm going to take care of business. And I won't be hanging around. It's got to be proportionate, appropriate, and deals with the threat and nullifies the threat immediately. Not this Hollywood dancing around. No, it has to be done immediately. And Bad Wolf Project, Mohammed Fahir Amaz, convicted of assault of PC Linda Ward and PC Ellie Cook in 2024 incident. Only one verdict so far. So maybe they're going to do the other one tomorrow. So I wish Tommy well. And yeah, that's what I'd heard, Alan. The guy was apparently drunk and had been harassing Tommy. So, oh well. He met his fate. I mean, I've been out with me ninja buddies, and there's been a pub fight kick-off. And one of my ninja teachers, I was like, "Oh, shall we? Yeah." And he's like, "No, just leave it, because that's their fate, not ours. Just leave them to it." And I mean, someone. Yeah, Alison, thank you for that. Just a little aside. Alison says, went to a Barbie at Lawrence Fox's gaff on Sunday and told his new wife, that'll be Lawrence Fox's, that he had meetings abroad this week, so he didn't flee the country. He went to attend pre-booked meetings. That's exactly my thought because of the video that went up. I can't find the video though, which is odd. But Tommy had a mark there. If he was an actor, he could have been pretending to be drunk. Well, the police will look at it and say the victim, which I believe to be Stephen Yaxley Lennon, Tommy Robinson, if the victims... Now, this is in the lexicon of language. If somebody calls the police and says, "Oh, I've been robbed," what do you mean you've been robbed? Now, a robbery and a theft are two different things. Theft, they're just taking stuff without your permission. A robbery is a theft with violence. Now, if somebody comes at you and you believe to be threatened, then the most effective technique in ninjutsu is running away. Look, I'm not so stupid. I'm not going to think I'm some kind of hard man. The martial artists have died previously in fights where they shouldn't have got themselves involved. So I would run away. If I couldn't run away, I'd stay there, but I'd take care of business. And it would be similar to what Tommy did. And I'm backing Tommy here. So even if he was an actor acting drunk, it's the perception of the victim, and the victim here is Tommy Robinson. If he perceived the man to be drunk, then he's not going to stand there and go, "Hey, mate, are you just acting?" His perception is, man's drunk, man's attacking me, I've told him to back off 5 times, he hasn't, bang. So, and as Tommy said afterwards, he came at me, bruv. He came at me. I do hope that Tommy's okay in a place of safety. I do hope that that video completely exonerates Tommy. And I think that coming up to the September March, the September demonstration, however you want to verse it, I do hope it goes ahead. I do hope that the powers that be, who are very, very worried about it, they're very worried about anything that's going on in this country because they know it's a tinderbox. Why do you think they put this rather large fence outside the House of Lords? Because those moronic people, MPs, they're all bricking it because they know they've taken it too far. Part of the I haven't been able to amalgamate my notes for tonight, and part of the typed notes is about the Fabian Society because Blair, Khan, Starmer. Oh, he's me mate, Donald. Yeah, he's me mate. Yeah, he's in the Fabian Society, and my deep dive is what the Fabian Society do and stand for, and the dark histories of the Fabian Society. So I think what I'll do is we'll kind of talk about stuff. For those that are new to the channel, please smash the likes on your way in, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because I think what I'm going to do tonight, I'm just going to have a gentle meander through my notes, and then tomorrow I'm probably going to amalgamate the notes and then present it to you again as a either as a live tomorrow night, or I might do it as a what do they call it? Whatever. Evening, Retro. Yeah, wrongin'. Good to see you in the body of the Kirk, sir. Andrew says to Bad Wolf Project, my wife was the UK junior judo champion in the 80s. she used judo on a school bully and got in huge amounts of trouble for it afterwards. I bet the bully didn't go anywhere near her again, though. Oh, I love. I mean, I love everything to do with open-handed technique and everything, because like judo. I mean, there's a special technique that I'm sure they know in judo, but we have a throw that if you're a smaller guy, and it was named after the smaller guy, you just do certain things and literally you just put their head in the ground because it'll snap their neck. So, but it's a really simple technique that women and children and smallers can deal with somebody who it might be a really bad, violent threat. So you can just get in there, boom, 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 hit the likes, smash it like Bonnie Blues, pew, 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 Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble and Grub, trumped on. Welcome aboard, Retro. We'll see what you've done there. Alan Little, very clever. Your wife was into judo. Oh, goshy. Those that know, I'm not going to explain it, but that's very clever. Very good. So what I wanted to do tonight, I wish Ozzy well on his travels. Normally the Egyptians would put pennies on his eyes to pay the ferryman into the next life. I did see Sharon. I'm not going to be disingenuous today, but I do feel that all the coverage of Ozzy is a bit of a distraction, because August 21st, it is coming towards us at some pace. Brilliant now. English ball cap did Wado Kai for 3 years in the late 80s. I'm sure I've heard that. I'm not... is it Wado Kai? Kerry Hawkins says, my daughter does jiu-jitsu, loves it. Well, most fights end up on the ground. So within ninjutsu, we have 8 gates of enlightenment, we have 9 schools, we have sword schools, open-handed technique schools, we have 2 schools that specialize in groundwork, and I love groundwork, because every fight's going to end up on the ground. Hopefully, not the one that you won't be in. I don't wish that upon you. Ian McGee says, my partner was in the street corners, I rescued her. Well, you know, all these like rappers, all these rappers who were into other male rappers that we now find out, and stuff. They're very sensitive creatures. Billy Idol. I mean, what did Andrew James saying? Young Billy Idol was on the mats with his got beaten up by a girl on the mats and sobbed afterwards. He's either going to lose or learn. Either way, he wins. Phil Levan. Adrian, do you know what film it is where a woman shaped a stick and takes his eyes out? Perhaps in the early 80s. You see, I'm not particularly happy going towards and talking about some of the more extreme techniques. I don't, actually. There was, I'm trying to think of the Japanese series of films, because I've got an extensive DVD collection of martial arts films and sword films. Captain Pugwash, I'm a 3rd degree black belt in the Korean art of Dong Long Do. I'm sure. Is it short long do when it's cold? English bottle cap, still got callous knuckles from training. Oh, I know. Well, you can, look, if you're looking at someone and they're getting a bit silly and a bit tasty, you can always tell the boxer. You can always tell the striker, because that little knuckle there is called a puncher's knuckle, because if you hit that knuckle, if you're trying to strike someone and you hit it with that knuckle, that dislocates really easy. So you can tell the real martial artists and the real strikers, because it's those 2 knuckles there. If you're extensively trained, you will hit with those 2 knuckles there. You won't even get the puncher's knuckle. And also we have straight finger techniques. We have that's a very good technique, which I can't tell you what it's for. Ninjas used to grind glass into powder and blow it into opponents' eyes. I know this. I know. That's why the ninjas are revered, and they're normally families from the mountains in Japan, because each family, because it in essence, by the time you got to the 16th and 17th century, the ninjas were born by the wandering monks about 1,000 years ago, and they went off and established families in the mountains around Japan. And I'm desperately trying to think of the name of the wandering monks that came across to Japan from China. And that's where it all started. And no, I'm not repeating it, Neil, but it's funny. Oh, wow. So they disappeared into the mountains, and it was the samurai that would use them to go and either find someone. It was the martial way. So they would hire the ninja, and the ninja families would have specific skills. So if they wanted somebody who was a bit tasty for infiltrating, no, I can't. Maybe next time. But they were traveling minstrels, and they would have female, and the the female name for female ninja is it's literally just gone out of my head as I was coming to it and to say it. It means deadly flower in Japanese. It'll come back to me. I'm trying to push things a little bit too quickly. But they were traveling minstrels. They would go into a town, and they would have their target. And shinobi is the Japanese term for ninja. And Jesus H. Adrian. Thank you, Alan. Kunoichi. Kunoichi in Japanese. Thank you for saving me, Alan. I'm looking over there because that's where the comments are. Kunoichi is a beautiful Japanese word for deadly flower, and the females were as deadly as the male ninjas, the shinobi. Bad Wolf Project says female ninja is called a wedding ring. Yeah, you know there's 3 rings in marriage, don't you? Yeah. Engagement ring, wedding ring, suffering. It's an old one. Kazarian Mafia, Gene Psychic. The 13 Assassins was a brilliant film. There's some great martial arts films. So the families would be hired for their specific skills. So the way that the samurai would only pay out was if they wanted the ninja to go and kind of get somebody or deal with somebody. They would go and they would do certain things. I'm not going to go into certain things, but they would do certain things, and and they would chop the head off, because it's no good going back to the samurai going, right lads, sorted it. Right, okay. Well, you're not getting paid then. What do you mean? Well, you haven't given us any evidence that you've sorted it. I have sorted it, man. So they said to the ninja, bring the head back. It's like give me the head of John the Baptist. Bring the head back. So you bring the head back, and the head was put in the middle of a circle of samurai, and all of the samurai had to agree in total that that was the person that they wanted killed. It was only then would the ninja get paid. Kerry Hawkins, Ring of Fire. I've had those curries before. So let's get into some deep information. As I say, I'm going to combine my notes and my type notes into presentation notes that I can, because there's so much dark histories of the people and the organizations that are involved. I have to be very careful about who they are. So what I've been doing over the last few months is I've been leading you up to this moment. And the reason why I've been leading you up to this moment is because there's a lot to take in. And some people, and thank you to everyone that stayed with me last night We got over 3,000 views, technically, which is fabulous. And we got nearly 500 likes, which is brilliant. And YouTube will attribute all of those because it was in three separate bits. Not that we wanted that. And thankfully, we found out via Bad Wolf Project that it was a YouTube problem, not my computer or my Wi-Fi. So over the last few months, I've been drip feeding you bits and pieces because I wanted you to be on it. And I know some people here are very well aware of what's going on in the world. They may not be aware of some of the dark histories involved and some of the bloodlines that are involved, like the Rothschilds and the Battenbergers and last night I told you that what they want is a cashless society, and they can only get to that cashless society if we take digital ID. So please be aware that yesterday, the first anniversary of Southport, that was used by the mainstream media to distract you. The Lionesses at the weekend, that was used to distract you. The Manchester Airport guilty verdict today, that will have been used to distract you. Tommy Robinson, that story yesterday. And hello, my name's David. I'm back in the fucking papers, man. Me, David Beckham. My ego must be the size of 3 planets. Yeah, Uranus, you tart. I mean, will he just kindly Foxtrot Oscar? We're not interested, David. Now you've got Lady Posh that takes it up the arse, and you've got you utter caring, understanding 90s type. We're not interested. And that's what they're doing in the newspapers. They're filling it full of shite, including David. David, oh, my son's got a bigger yacht than me. I might have to go and buy out. Oh, here, sod off, man. We literally are sick to the fucking back teeth of that man. Well, I am. Every time I open the newspapers and it's another, me son's not talking to me. Do you blame him? Do you blame him with a voice like that? Golden bollocks, Jesus, they haven't dropped yet. David, here, come here. I'll kick you in the bollocks. That'll make you sound like Barry White, Bonnie lad. So, you see, me, pussy. Neil says, Adrian, your Beckham voice woke me cat up. Mephistopheles, that's brilliant. Starmer, Rentboy, Felching, gone quiet. Queefing, Felching, it's all a game. And if you don't know what queefing is, do not look for it in Google if you're with family or at work. But queefing is the thing, so is Felching. So everything in the mainstream media, and at the end of tonight, I am going to give you an answer of how we, me and you, and the community that we have here are actually ahead of the game. Not only ahead of the game, but we know what to do. That English bottle cap, I'm not repeating that, but that's very funny. So the New World State, we've been aware, I mean, even Bush Senior, who's now shuffled off, he's talking about the New World Order. Well, they were talking about the New World Order because it wasn't a New World Order. It's the New World State. One world, one state, and they're all at it. Because there is transhumanism involved in this. There's technocrats involved in this. It is a really complex system and situation that they're building. And they're almost at the finish line. Once they get digital IDs in law in this country, yeah, the Rockefellers, Alison, thank you. So once they get digital IDs in this country, forgive my language, we're fucked. We are bent double, and Starmer's going to do to us what some people rumoured to say he did to the Funboy 3. Brilliant, Kerry. Women don't fanny fat, that's queefing. It's a form of communication. She's obviously got a mouthful at the time. Gene Psychic, they're after our souls. They are parasites. I'm going to... So what I'm attempting to do is take a meander through some of the information and some of the facts so that you get it. So you get the organizations that are behind it. It's only 3 or 4. There's not many. And you know who they are. You just don't know how they're interacting and what they're doing and what they're putting in the background. Are you aware of geofencing? So I'm going to tell you what that is and how they're going to use it and how they're going to have... Brilliant, Stuart. He says, I've just asked Alexa what queefing is, and she said, sorry, I'd rather not answer that. Bad Wolf Project. Ask ChatGPT what felching is. Results came back. It's an urban myth. Where's TBT when you need her? Probably queefing her head off. Upstairs for dancing, downstairs for... So, most of the organisations are... It's a bit like, how can I make it simple? Because what I don't want to do is I want to get through this and it just feels like information overload. I want to try and give you some of the stuff that you already know because I've told you and add that and weave things in because I know people come here for specific reasons. And one of the reasons is, I've told you before, what's the first casualty of war? The truth. And you want this community to cut through the fog of war. So I've had to drop little things in for you to understand. Now, I told you last night that they want a cashless society. They want a worldwide cashless society. Why do you think the orange man, the Donald, is talking about America being the crypto capital of the world? Because fiat currencies, that's the money, the greenbacks, the moolah, they're going to get away with it. They're going to do away with it. They're going to get rid of it. So if you've got a shit ton of money hidden under your bed, you need to convert it. But when you convert it, the bankers don't want you to make money because that's their job. The job of a bank and bankers, merchant bankers in particular, the merchant bankers, they want to make money out of nothing. And how do they do that? In some banks, not all, they will take your money, say you give them £1,000, and they'll be able to loan out £3,000 or £4,000 in loans. But if you then, say, have 10 grand in your bank, as I saw in a video the other day, I want £2,500 out because I want to buy my son a motorbike. Oh, you can't have that. What do you mean? It's my fucking money. Oh, you can't have that. You can't take that out. We haven't got it. What do you mean you haven't got it? You're the bank. You're the safe place for me to put me valuables and me money and stuff. And they said, oh, can't give you. You need to have identification. He's like, I'm in the bank. I've given you my passport and or my driving license. What else do you need? Well, you can't have it. Go off. So the banks make money out of nothing. They make it by loans and other nefarious ways, especially if you're the Vatican Bank, where, you know, one of your operatives ends up hanging under London Bridge. Can you remember that story? Des Ashton, you're correct. Babylonian money magic. So the reason why I gave you that little tidbit last night about the cashless society is because that on the surface is quite innocuous. But they want a cashless society because they want to control what you spend, how you spend it, where you spend it. You are nothing better than a cash cow. You will do as you are fucking told. I mean, I'm including me in this. I'm not sitting on any moral high ground, and I'm no better than anybody else on this planet. That's why I talk about it so regularly, because I am very, very afraid that what they are doing is evil. August 21st, I'm telling you, the couple of weeks leading up to August 21st, I'm going to be running around like a headless chicken telling everybody that we've got to stop this. We have to stop it. But I'll get to that at the end. So, what do you think the puppet masters in the shadows, what do they need to do to get us there, to a cashless society? Well, digital ID is going to be implemented in 4 weeks. And I will reiterate, if they get digital ID into this country, we are royally fecked. I mean, royally. Because they'll then spend decades possibly in just maneuvering the system. The orange man wants crypto capital of the world, America, to be crypto capital. So he's got 10 coins, I think it is, that he's pushing hard, and he's getting all of the banks and all the organizations to adopt, so that it ends up where Des Ashton says social credit score. of course, I will get to that. As I say, I want to take this slowly so you understand completely. And I also want to leave this so that people can watch it again and again and again. And by the time I've amalgamated the notes and possibly done a premiere tomorrow or another live tomorrow night at 7:30, you'll get it. You'll absolutely get it. And what I want to do, Des is talking about a social credit score. So I've told you before, World Economic Forum, it's merely the Chinese Communist Party. I've been to Davos numerous times. Some arsehole, I was wearing my Davos hockey top and somebody went, oh, he's wearing a top with Davos on it. Oh, he's a plant. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Anybody going to an ice hockey game in Davos? Davos is a bloody skiing resort, man. Didn't see Charlie there. Well hung lesbian. Ray Norton says, pre-written email on Together opposing digital ID. I've asked, in other lives, I've asked people to go to digital, to hashtag Together, because they are on it, proper on it. So what do these puppet masters want to do? They want to control us. So you have to have the diversions. They know that you love a bit of gargle. They know maybe you're into a little recreational. They know that in our youth we might have just been shaggers or whatever. It's all a distraction. Life is a distraction for you. And the newspapers don't print the bloody truth, man. And I know you get it, because you wouldn't be here otherwise. Bad Wolf Project. You are wearing a pink polo tonight. Does this mean you are LGBTQAAAA+++? Yeah, I came out as lesbian years ago. Look, sometimes I have facial hair, I wear dungarees, comfortable shoes, and drink pints. I'm a lesbian. In fact, I've got the audio from the radio show where I came out 20 years ago. So, yeah, you're right. Bad Wolf Media. Abby Caston, old sausage fingers. Well hung lesbian, Abby. Kerry Hawkins, you're wronging. It goes with my colour, darling. Let's get back on it. You're distracting me now, you're wronging. Lauren Taylor says, oh, good heavens, I'm 70 years old. This is an education. Who knew? The reason why it is all coming out is because they're so close to the finish line. The finish line is August 21st. The minute that they implement this inquiry into central bank digital currency, as English Bottle Cap says, it's a digital form of a country's fiat currency. That's the pound notes. We haven't got them anymore. Bloody hell. Pound coins, £2 coins, £5 notes, £10 notes, if you've seen a 20 or a 50 recently. So it's the country's fiat currency issued and regulated by a central bank, while digital currency can refer to any form of money that exists in digital form, such as Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to tell you this again, and this is mainly for the newcomers, because everybody that's a regular knows that the Rothschilds have almost all of the central banks around the world. Nearly all of them. There's 6 that I think's left. So these countries, and these are the countries that you have to watch for, because when the reportage or the news cycle has a look at Venezuela or Iran or Russia or China or North Korea or Hungary or, I think that's it, is another one? Syria. But Syria is kind of, that's been taken care of. In Iran, their central bank closed down whilst in the 12-day war, seemingly, with Israel. So, although talking about this is a little dry, it's really, really, really important that you keep hold of this one piece of information. I'll give you the countries again. So when you're watching the either the telly news or if you take the newspapers, when they talk about Venezuela, America has still got Venezuela on its radar, because Venezuela is one of the biggest producers of gas and oil in the world. But the central bank in Venezuela is much more valuable to the Rothschilds. Now, they own everything. And that's why Mark Carney was head of the Bank of England in the city in London. And he's now head of Canada. But he's also bollock deep with some of the other organisations that I'm going to tell you about tonight. So just because he either is a good-looking guy or wears nice suits, do not fall into the trap of personality politics, because they're fooling you. They're taking the mickey out of you. Personality politics, when we've got a prime minister that doesn't even have a personality. Have a look at that one then. So these countries, you need to keep them in here. So there's Venezuela, there's Hungary. Have you not noticed how Europe are having a go at Poland and Hungary? And they're saying to Hungary, right, I'll do as you're told. We're going to fine you €1,000,000 a day. And Hungary's gone, right-o. How to win shite? In Hungarian, of course. How to win shite? And Ursula von der Leyen, bitch, and Christine Lagarde, she's the pair of them are like, oh, hungry. Well, yeah, I'm actually hungry, not hungry. So if you give me one of those lovely Andrew James' wife's prawn sandwiches. I mean, I know it's a prawn cocktail, but I'm, artistic license. I'll have one. So Hungary is next on the list. So is Iran. They have to defeat somehow Iran to get the central bank. Now, the central bank closed down during the war. But then you've got these huge countries. Russia. Now, what's Russia doing? Oh, it's after the gas and oil. But why is it after the gas and oil? I'm going to explain it to you. It's coming. And then you've got China, who just wants stability. But China's taking over the bloody world, man. They're not daft, these little Chinese. They're everywhere. You go to any of the major cities. I was in Vancouver a few years ago, and my dear friend who lives in Vancouver, he said to me, he said, well, you'll notice there's quite a few Chinese here. I was like, what about the Canadians? He said, no, the Chinese are taking over. So, if you look London, or not sure, Edinburgh a little bit, but I know there was slave trading going on in Edinburgh. Can't explain how I know. Hydrocarbons are not fossil-based or finite. The suggestion of scarcity enables massive profits. Of course, Des. Of course, no such thing as fossil fuels. It's renewable because the earth renews all of the stuff that comes out of it. And that's why the Donald and the Putin and the Chinese, they're looking for gold in the floor. They're looking for oil and gas in the floor because it's all about energy. That's what they're doing. Vancouver is on my list of places I'd love to go, says Stuart. Stinks of weed. Because it's legal in Vancouver, it stinks of weed. But Vancouver's lovely. The Canadians, one of my favourite peoples, because they're just friendly. But the Chinese and Alan Blindfold and Indians, apparently. Where is Cockite recently? I haven't seen him. Is he still an MP? Working for Goldman Sachs now, Cockite. So what the puppet masters are doing is they're trying to distract you away from the fact that they need these 6 countries. The Rothschilds, and they've been doing this for decades and decades and decades. They've been at getting a hold of the central banks of each country. Thereby, they're going to own the central bank digital currencies. As I say to you, this is quite dry, but it's really important, because then when the shit hits the fan, the brown stuff hits the fan, you'll go, oh, yeah, I understand now. I get that. So Vancouver, Americans had a bit of a spat with Venezuela. Yeah, because they want the gas and oil out of the ground. They want the access to it. So the puppet masters are actually the bloodlines. Now, this is almost David Icke territory. Totalitarian tiptoe, yeah. And some of the things he's been talking about since the 80s. Remember the Wogan interview where Wogan said to David Icke, they're laughing at you, not with you, David. They're not laughing now, are they? Arses. I mean, but that's the system and the establishment and the elite making sure and keeping everybody dumb and making sure that you are distracted, whether it's I don't know, Britain's Got Talent or some shite on the BBC. Oh, the BBC's done. It's finished. It's over. Because everybody knows now it's a propaganda peddler. It's finished. So The Gene Psychic says Liverpool has the oldest Chinese community in Britain. I think. Tell you something, the Liverpool mafia know not to mess with the Chinese. Well, they're not going to go cockle picking in the northwest, are they? Because the Chinese, a few of them died, sadly. But the puppet masters, if you know their names, like the Donald Trump, they're not actually the elite. They are not one of the bloodlines. The Donald might be wealthy beyond our imaginations, but the people that are pulling the strings, the puppet masters in the shadows, they know that they have to control us. And how are they controlling us? Well, let me ask you, who are they? I've already mentioned the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. It's that kind of wealth where you just even can't see the amount of noughts in their bank accounts, or how many bank accounts, or how many people have got working for them in varying countries in varying ways. It's just wealth beyond imagination. But so you're going to ask a question. You're going to go, all right, Clever Clogs, what's the ultimate goal? Look, we'll start there. What's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is totalitarian control. Total control in every which way. And you're going to say, all right, Clever Clogs, how long is it going to take? Well, the timeline is Agenda 2030. I know you know that. But I'm going to tell you how the UN and the WHO and everybody else fits into that Agenda 2030. And that was created by the bloodlines. And they want it done by 2027. So I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to give you knowledge and understanding. And then how we're going to defeat them. Because the one thing that they can't do, because they're, they're from the dark side, is they don't have the human spirit. They don't have, we have hope. English bottle cap. I'm going to get to the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, which serves as a bank for central banks and facilitates cooperation amongst them. Of course. And Gene is talking about depopulation. So they know we're waking up. They know that we know. We know that the jibber jabber 5 years ago, everybody was trying to do the best that they could for themselves, their family, their community, the country. Everybody was trying to do the best. And what happened? We rumbled what they were doing. Said many times, we don't judge on this channel. We don't, because people were trying to do their best. Unless they're a bit thick. Well, then you can tell they're vaccinated. So, what is the ultimate goal? Control. Total control. And later, I'm going to explain to you what that control is and will mean. But the timeline is 2030. That's the end game. That's everything. Les says, hope and knowledge is not enough. We need arms. Well, if you think about it, Les, and this is not, I'm not kind of pushing back at all, but if there's 12 million fighting Christian men in this country, I mean, if you look at Wat Tyler and the peasant revolution in the 1300s, all they had to do was march on London. Oh, you think that these politicians are going to get the army on the streets like Winston Churchill? 10 million of us march on London. These feckless idiots, they will scream and get out of the country before they've had a chance to realise that we're marching on London. I'm telling you, that's why they're scared of Tommy. That's why they're scared of this march in September. Because they don't like it up them, Captain Mannering. So, the nightmare of total organisation, so controlling every facet of your life. You do, please understand, that digital ID is going to put you in prison. A prison that you can't see the bars of, but you won't be able to travel, you won't be able to buy fuel. If you criticise the Chinese Communist Party, then you will not be allowed to go anywhere and do anything unless they agree with it. So you think you can go on holiday? Not happening. You think you can go buy food? Not happening. You think you can go buy stuff and have any amount of stuff, but I will get to how they're going to control it. So the nightmare of total organisation is just around the corner. Understand they're going to distract you. The next 4 weeks, there's stuff going to hit the newspapers, and the news cycle's really quick, but what they're doing is they're speeding the news cycle up. They're flooding the zone so that you don't take any notice of the newspapers and the news media. You'll just act in ignorance. But that's why it was released today that the BBC is the #1 viewed channels. YouTube is #2. ITV's back there at #3. Yeah, woke ITV. Go woke, go broke, go off. So what are they going to... They're going to fuse and amalgamate certain things. So what do they want? Total organisation, total control of. Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate your support, as always. Thank you very much. They want the physical. They want to control your physical. They want the digital. And they want the biological. This is out of Bill Gates's mouth. He wants the fusion of physical, digital, biological. And what they're going to do, as we mentioned, I think it was on last night's live or the night before, they want to chip us. They want transhumans, so that we're just dumb, young, dumb, and full of stuff. And all they want is you to do your job, do as you're told, and just work for the massa. Yes, massa. No massa. 3 bags full massa. So YouTube, Ray, yeah, Rowan. So they want to change who we are, but they don't want to scare you and make you run for the hills. They want you to just be and stay there and not realise that digital ID is going through the House of Parliament and they're going to muck it up like the online safety bill. So they will get what they want. They'll have you distracted, and then they can take their time. Because we're not going to be the first country to have digital IDs. Tony Blair. Charles Linton. For the newbies, Charles Linton. Bow Street Magistrates. Google it. It's all just subtle pushes, like those 3 weeks to flatten the curve lines. The shot's safe and works. Promises that never quite pan out. Ukraine? Been a proxy conflict since 2014. That was the laundering the money. They knew what was coming with the central banks. They knew what was coming with crypto. They knew, because Bitcoin is older than 2014. So they knew what they were going to do, and they were washing billions of dollars worth of money through Ukraine. Who's there? It's not Sniffy. Don't know where Sniffy is. Is he skiing somewhere? Or is he dead? Well, parts of his army want him dead, so where is he? South America having plastic surgery. Where's Sniffy? I'm talking Volodymyr Zelensky. He's nowhere to be seen because he couldn't stuff any more dollars into his trouser pockets if he tried. Maybe he's in Paris buying another Bugatti for his missus. Bugatti didn't like that coming out. Kaz, oh, you're late. Been watching. All right, okay. Well, you need to catch up with the earlier bits. I know that you're a regular and you'll kind of get all of this. Gene Psychic, you may end up like Mussolini did. What, hanging from a lamppost? The Italians didn't like Mussolini particularly. I see you. A lot of us will be given the go-to-sleep pill. Anyone over 60 needs to stay away from doctors. I agree with you. I see you. And I was thinking about Logan's Run, the film. Anybody over 32? Oi, 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 off you go. We're just going to put you asleep. Miraculously, it was the old boys on the council that was deciding that the youngers at 32 had to go. Well, Jesus Christ was 33, seemingly. But if you want to go deeply into that, there's 33 vertebrae in your body, and you're thinking you're not God. You're a fractal of the ineffable, experiencing itself as consciousness. Ray Norton says, I had a couple of villains walk past me with full helmets on with masks. Thought I was at NASA. Brilliant. Red pill, blue pill, or Battenberg pill. Well, it'll make everybody smell nicer. So they're after this totalitarian tiptoe, to use David Icke's term. They want a fusion of physical, digital, and biological. They want to control you. They want you to do as you're told. Now, they have done this. Can you remember when they, as someone said, I think it was Bad Wolf Project, said that God, I've lost me thread now. It's around. I've got to get to the next point because it's important. But I wanted to say that. Oh, it'll come back. I'll come back. Oh yes, Esther Ranson. She dead yet? I hope she has a painless death. But look what she's put on the statute books. So you think the elderly are not just going to be... The government says, time to go to sleep. Because there's going to be no oversight. That's why there were people in the Lords contacting me saying, can we have an interview? I was like, yeah, all right then. But they will do it a bit like the old ones in the old folks' homes with a jibber jabber. And some of the drugs that they were giving them. And Matt Hancock is still a free man walking around this country. Hadaway. Yeah, Gene Psychic. Oh my, her dodgy China line. We won't go into that tonight, Gene, but I completely agree with you. Bill Gates, quote, people over 75 are a financial drain on the government resources. How old is he now? Can we not just give him a bill and tell him to fuck off? One of the older than Yoda, says Mephistopheles. He's... and Whitty, says Stephen Hall. Where's Hancock and where's Whitty? Is he still banging that married woman that he... they're good enough for each other. Paulie Galtieri says she's lasting longer than she deserves. She was telling us she was dead in January. But I will tell you this, and it's stark, and it's straight, and it's facts. Once digital ID is in place, it's game over. It is game over. Because that's all they're after. Everything else that follows is they can only do whatever's going to follow, like the Cashless Society and other things, once the digital ID is in place. And that I've told you many, many times, they're going to tell you it's a solution to a problem you never knew you had. We know we've got all these people coming into the country, the brown faces, the Afghans, the camel shaggers, they're all coming into this country. Oh, thank you. I got flat. I got phone. I got free money. I'm asking my 22 members of my family to come and live with me in this country. You give me so much. Esther has gone quiet because she's at the dentist getting a filling. Work expected to finish next Tuesday, Neil Cunningham. Well, Starmer will. Yes, I agree. Ian McGee says Starmer will join the other evil one, Blair at WEF. Well, Blair, look, Tony Blair's on the board at WEF, and so is Larry Fink, Chief Executive Officer of BlackRock. And as I was going to say earlier, and when I was talking about how are they going to control us, we have numerous huge companies with assets in the tens of trillions of dollars. Look at BlackRock. He was invited into number 10 by Starmer the Hammer, backdoor Starmer. I'm surprised he didn't go around the back and go, hello, Larry, are you coming in? Sorry, Sakir, that's backdoor. Ah, well, I like it round here. It's nice and fresh. It smells of Battenberg. And then Rachel from accounts. But what we know is that Vanguard, State Street, BlackRock, and JP Morgan, they all own each other. They're all at it. They are ball deep in the brown stuff, the nefarious stuff. I mean, BlackRock has more assets than some small countries. But once digital ID is in place, that is it. It's game over. Now, like some of you have mentioned tonight, I'm an old boy. I've lived 2/3 of my life. So I don't care what they do. Yes, Bad Wolf Project makes an absolutely superb point. Now the triple lock is under threat. Is that to say by 2040 the state pension as we know it will not exist? Correct. What they're going to do is they're going to make everybody work until they die. So the average age is it 76? 74, 76. So they're now going to say, well, you keep working because we're not going to give you a pension. Yet, I've been paying into the national insurance pension pot for 40 years, the thieving bastards. And I'm sure you're exactly the same. And they're going to try to tell me that I can't have a pension. You know, I'll firebomb. No, I won't say that. They've said it's not sustainable past 2035. Right? Well, All of the MPs, they can start doubling into the common fund that is our pension. Stop giving Ukraine £300 billion. Stop doing that. That will look after all of the pensions that we need. And what they're doing is they're trying to get rid of everything. They're trying to say, no. Triple lock's got to go. No, it fucking doesn't. It's you inept in Parliament. I mean, Rachel from Accounts, she's gone this summer. Absolutely categorically. The two, and she was told that. That's why she was crying, in my view, in the Houses of Parliament. She's got skin thicker than a rhino. She's a politician, for crying out loud. And she's crying in the House? Here, Rachel, you've been sacked, mate. We know. Foxtrot Oscar, Sir Keir Starmer, backdoor Starmer, because he's taken us into Europe by the back door. Off you go. They're gone. Finished. Done. Like the Labour Party. Jeremy Corbyn. He's polling. They haven't even got a name for the political party, and he's polling better than the Labour Party. And the Labour Party, there is a reason why they're doing what they're doing, because they're trying to get people back on side. People have had enough. The under 30s, they're all going to vote for Corbyn's version of Labour. This new version of Labour, everybody knows they've been lied to. They've been shafted, and I'm telling you, with all seriousness, once digital ID is in place, it's game over. They then have as long as they want, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, to do whatever they want. Because remember, no one is telling you, other than this channel, that the Seville commitment signed as an international treaties by Starmer the Harmer, it means that anybody that wins the next general election cannot reverse anything that they've put in place now, this term. Why isn't that front page news in the mainstream media? Because they're being bought off with advertising. That's why. Neil Cunningham says, I believe Starmer will survive by having a reshuffle and replace the challengers. Look, I've got an image in my head now of Starmer having a reshuffle. Back to the Fun Boy 3 and the Four Tops. It's not something that I want in there. I might have bad dreams about it tonight. Rich says, I've got a private pension pot of 230 grand. Sounds a lot, but at 59, it's not enough to get a decent amount to retire. Looks like I'm going to have to work for another 10 years. Well, I'll be straight with you, Rich. You need to get it over 250 because that's the average, I think. And if you can, I'm going to keep working in my 70s and 80s if my faculties are still there. Chris Mundy, what can we do? Seriously do? I'm going to tell you in a second. Patience is a virtue. So I'm telling you that digital ID, it'll be over for humanity. We have 1 month to save the world. And remember, it's their vision. Sorry, it's their vision, your future. They don't care about you. They don't care whether you live or die. You're just another, as Bill Gates says, you're just an inconvenient feeder. So what we're looking at, and as I say, they've been working on this for 100 years. They knew 100 years ago that fiat currencies weren't going to last. They would get possibly 100 years out of it. So now it's coming to an end. So what are we going to? We are going to a technocracy. What's that? Well, it's a world dictated through science. Can you remember in the lockdown, because all the clues were there that a lot of people missed? They said, trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. All the way through lockdown, it's the jibber jabbers. Trust the science is going to work. Science is going to save you. We're going to save you by giving you the jibber jabber, and the science is going to save you. Did it? So a technocracy is basically technocracy is going to be the replacement for capitalism and democracy. So what is coming, and that's why digital ID has to be the first step, and then the cashless society, is they're getting rid of the fiat money. What they're doing is they're going to control you. They are the world is going to be dictated through science, an ideology of science. It's called technocracy. And we're going to have technocrats sitting at the top going, right, well, the science says that. And they'll even have modelling that they had in lockdown. Remember the guy that doesn't pop his head above the parapet anymore? He was modelling how many people were going to die. He got that so fucking wrong. I'm surprised his company's still going. And the politicians believed him, because the politicians can then, they have deniability. They can say to you, we believe there's going to be 1 million people die. The modelling shows that 1 million of people is going to die. And we're there trying to do our best for ourselves, our family, our community, our country. And it was just hogwash. It was Rolex. Amalia says, very quite rightly, science is theoretical and subjective, depending on the scientist's interests or who's paying their wages. So we're going to have capitalism. That's why the Donald wants to have America as the center for crypto, the worldwide center for crypto. And they're going to, I said this to you a couple of weeks ago. I feel that democracy's over, that politics is over. It's done, it's finished, it's gone. Because the Labour Party's not going to survive this. The Tory Party's not going to survive this. You've got Sir Ed Wavy and the fucking Liberal Democrats. I mean, what do they do exactly other than just piss people off? Ghetto defendant, Bob on. They don't want you to pass assets to your kids. If you are independent, you can't be controlled. Exactly. And how are you going to be independent? Land. Land will give you food. Land you can't be chucked off. I was going to say tossed off there. Alan says, we knew democracy died before Brexit. So what they're doing is the technocracy is going to replace capitalism, where you're a consumer and you will just buy. Blipverts, if you remember Max Headroom, you'll buy this. And Max Headroom was like, yeah. Spend all your money. Yeah. And people went out and bought shit. That's capitalism. That's what it's... Unless you get to the communist version of stakeholder capitalism. We will get to the World Economic Forum and the Chinese Communist Party. That's coming. So, democracy is done. That's why the Seville Commitment's been signed by our Prime Minister. International treaty, so he can get away with it without showing Parliament or telling Parliament about it. But technocracy provides the design for the future. Because they're scientists. Seemingly, they know. I mean, have you met people with... and this is not meant to... I've got to be very careful here because I don't want to upset any of my friends. But have you ever seen people that are like highly intelligent, but they haven't got any common sense? So the scientists will say exactly what they're going to say because of who's paying them to say what they're going to say. So technocracy, to keep it really simple, is based on resources and energy. So as I've been telling you for weeks and weeks and weeks, Ukraine versus Russia, it's got nothing to do with war. Nothing. They are literally washing the money. The NGOs, so the politicians send all this money to war-torn country. Putin's laughing his cap off if he wears one. He's laughing his cap off. Why? Because he's got Crimea. He's got access to the Black Sea. The Black Sea is where all the oil and gas is. And he's got pipelines and he was committed 2 or 3 days after 9/11. He was at George W. Bush's ranch in Texas, organising a pipeline that the Americans and the Russians built together out of the out of the Caspian Sea, and the reserves in the Caspian Sea at that time, 25 years ago, there was 300 years worth of oil and gas under the Caspian Sea. That's why the Russians went into Afghanistan in the 80s, not to go and have a bit of a dance with some Afghanistanis or the Taliban. The Taliban routed the Russians and got them out of Afghanistan, but the Russians went into Afghanistan to make all the money from the gas and the oil. And then 9/11 happened 10 years later. Not long, if you think about it. It's only a decade later, Russia and America into the Caspian Sea, and they've taken the pipeline out down through the Tora Bora mountain range, where Osama bin Laden had his house. Now, Osama bin Laden had his house. No, that was a CIA cave. system that the CIA built for him. You know, he had kidney problems. He was on dialysis. He couldn't have done 9/11. And when they went into the Tora Bora mountain range in Afghanistan, young Osama would have been shit dead if they'd taken his dialysis machine away. And then we get the distraction of some Navy SEALs or something, or Navy moose, or Navy giraffes or something. Because, look, the American army, it's shit. We're the best fighting force in the world, bar none. Look, I could get a car of my family, go to America, and we'd kick the shit out of them in half a day. Americans, they've got to be on fucking speed if they're flying aircraft. They've got to be on gear to go and fight. Vietnam War, 19, average age. Sorry if there's any Americans in tonight, but I'm on it. I don't give a... So you have everything based on resource and energy. Israel and Gaza. And this bullshit in the papers about, well, we're the Labour Party, and, my name's Sakia, and I'm going to recognise Palestine. Yeah, go to Egypt, hang a left, you'll find it. Or if you want to come down from the top, from Lebanon, it might be a bit, if you've been to Beirut lately. Rich says, as my accountant tells me, tax evasion is illegal, but tax avoidance isn't. Yeah, for the wealthy. So, Israel wants Gaza, the Gaza Strip. I've told you many times before. And look, I don't care whether you believe me or not, because in 10, 20, 30 years, I told you about the Ben Gurion Canal. I told you about everything that Israel wanted and what they did with the Gaza Strip and the settlements. Now they're after the settlements, going into west of Israel. I mean, I've been to that country that's just over the Dead Sea, Jordan. So they want to expand Israel into Jordan and other countries. Because look, can you not remember the 60s war between Israel and all the other Arabs? They kicked everybody else's arse. So look at Iran. Israel saying to Iran, we've got our mates, the Americans, will bomb the shit out of you. They're bigger than you. They've got more armaments and they've told us we can buy them. They've given us $120 billion so we can buy all that shit and bomb the shit out of you. Our mates, the Americans, are going to do it. Up yours. So Israel wants the oil and the gas, wants the energy and the resources under the Gaza Strip. Russia wants the resources and energy under the Black Sea, under the Caspian Sea. Everybody, it's one big club, and you know this, we're not in it. That's all they're after, resources and energy. So the current wars, Israel and Gaza. So Starmer, the Harmer, has been told by somebody more powerful than him. He's being told, oi, bunny lad, out there and tell them we're going to support the Gazans and the Gaza Strip. Oh, man, mate, my wife's Jewish, my kids are Jewish. I can't do this. I can't say to Israel, right, you better stop the war, otherwise we're going to recognise Palestine. Lovely, Sakia. Thank you very much for doing as you're told. Funboy 3, you're going to come out, have a dance with you if you want. Lauren Taylor, my dad, who was a Marine in World War II, used to say that the Americans got medals for brushing their teeth. I mean, you remember Kenny Everett doing the American general with all these medals. Our boys just go and take care of business. Our boys, whether it's specials or not, we are the best fighting population on planet Earth. And anybody who wants to disagree, how are you then? We're even storing your bloody nuclear warheads in this country. Out of here and shite, man. Bloody Americans. So what you have is a technocracy. You have the scientists versus the chaos. So the scientists, remember, and I'll reference lockdown because I know you understand that. The scientists look at the chaos and they say to the chaos, to us, me, you, everybody else, take the jibber jabber. The science says, and we'll get out of this chaos. We'll flatten the curve and save the NHS. So what they're doing, the technocrats are taking us into the chaos so that the scientists can say, we'll save you. The science says, we'll save you. So do as you're told, take digital ID, because we're going to stop all these camel shaggers coming across the British Channel, because the French should have sorted all this. But remember, 20 odd years ago, I was telling you 1997 and 1998 on my phone-ins, Tony Blair counted the male heads into this country and then counted the male, female and children's heads going out of the country. So the net migration looked like it was pretty good. But the Germans told Blair straight, which is unusual for Tony Blair, Anthony Charles Linton Blair with a Y. Terry Wookford says, Alan, he did mention recognising Gaza as a state. Trump said, do what you want. The US won't. No, they're making too much money. So the scientists are going to, they're creating the chaos, the news cycle, too quick, too fast, too much. People are not paying attention anymore. They're coming to me and other channels for kind of dissecting the chaos, cutting through the fog of war, because this is what we are. We are at war, and I will explain my statement in just a little while. So they're flooding the zone, the chaos, the mainstream media, the news cycle. It's all just being sped up so you won't pay attention other than, hello, my name's David. Yeah, me missus. Me yacht's just small. I've not got a really big yacht. But me son, Nicola. Notice how she's not taking the Beckham name. She's called Nicola Peltz. Daddy's a multi-billionaire. Not interested in the Beckham brand. No. So, Brooklyn, how are you, Nicola? Let's go and dance. Me dad's got a yacht and it's shit compared to your dad's. So, can your dad be my dad? Bad Wolf Project says, in response to Ray Norton says, my local hospital closed wards during lockdown. Bad Wolf Project says, Ray, let's not forget the Nightingale hospitals that were empty. They were all doing bloody TikTok videos and dancing. BB showed Army here helping out, and when I went, it was empty. Yeah, I know. How do we end shite? Correct, my favourite saying. Brilliant, Lauren. So, they're flooding the zone. Do you know what's missing in all of this? And I'm not getting all tree-hugging hippie on you by any stretch of the imagination. But do you know what's missing in all of this? Spirituality. They don't want us turning to either our community or our God. Whichever one you decide, there's no judgment here. You can be a bloody atheist if you want, but they don't want us to fight this spirituality war, because we'll bloody win, because they're evil. And all we can hope for is that good will triumph over evil. I've said that to you before. Honestly, I could keep going for bloody 4 hours. I've been doing it nearly 2, and I've got loads of notes. So, I've told you, and I want you to recognise this, that the whole world, or the people that are pulling the strings, they want all of the world's resources in their pockets. It's Agenda 2030 writ large. Agenda 2030, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2030. You know what that is, don't you? I own nothing. I have no privacy. Because there's a couple of different versions of this, what Klaus Schwab says. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. So they're saying that by 2030, anything that you want, you will rent. I've told you before about subscriptions. That's what they want. They want us to go out and work, earn our money, and then, because it's digital currency, they will take all of the subscriptions off us, and they'll make a shit ton of money and leave us owning nothing. No house, no chattels, no assets, no nothing. But you'll be happy, and you won't have any privacy, because they'll look at your bank accounts. You do know this is coming, don't you? You do know that once we get digital IDs, you're going to have to give them their bank accounts, because the banks will corroborate what you have with the government. This is the Chinese Communist Party. It's communism writ large. Be interesting what happens with Corbyn and his Communist Party. So society will be a subscription-based everything. You will be told anything that you want, you'll rent. You will own nothing. Except those in the shadows, except those bloodlines who will... UK currently has no leader of the Church of England. Bishop of Battenberg turns down role. I thought that, well, yeah, Charlie's got to do it. You know, well-hung lesbian Charles the Weak. He's got to appoint. It's not like a vote or anything for the Church of England. It's Charles, because he's a defender of the faiths. Couldn't defend his way out of a paper bag, that man. So subscription-based everything. Now, this chaos is planned. This is not random. It's not like... We know that the lockdowns, the jibber-jabber, that wasn't random. It was chaotic because nobody knew what was going on. We're going to flatten the curve. Save the NHS. Oh, so you're going to spunk more of our money. Look at Michelle Mone. Where's she now? Miami? It'll be some country where she can't be extradited. There is a vote for the leadership of the Church of England. Charles merely confirms appointment. Either way, if he says I'm not having him or her, ain't happening. Defender of the faith. So this chaos is planned. It's not random at all. So what they're going to do, and this will be by Agenda 2030. That's the UN's Agenda 2030. The UN, the United Nations. Oh, they're a benign organisation, Adrian. How could you say that? I'm going to tell you how. So they're going to collapse the world democracies into one world technocracy. It's coming. Do not think that I'm talking shite. You can judge me if you want. Give it till 2030. Don't come crying to me. I'm telling you what they're up to. And it's easy to see. And they're trusting that you don't give a flying. Yeah, I mean, you've got the model of Netflix and Spotify and all these entertainment subscriptions. But once they get digital ID, that's when they'll have control over your driving license, your passport, your money, your banking, your food, your everything. And I will give you more depth to that in just a second. So they're going to collapse the world democracies. But they need to get digital ID in first. Everything follows. So if they do get digital ID in, and I hope that they don't, I hope this country rises up and says, enough, enough, enough. You're going too far. That bloody World Economic Forum. Where's Klaus Schwab? What was he done for? Because Klaus Schwab invented the World Economic Forum. Henry Kissinger was his backer. Henry Kissinger was one of the most evil men on planet Earth. Lovely accent, bless him. Oh, he's an old boy. Evil, evil, evil. And he was kind of the mentor to Klaus Schwab. And he created the World Economic Forum in 1971. And in 2025, he was told, oi, Klaus, sling your hook, bonny lad. But I invented all this. I created all this. Aye, well, you can foxtrot Oscar, because we know what you've been up to. I can't say here, because I will end up with my brake packs cut. Bad Wolf Project, I said it before, Boris Build Back Better, the Great Reset. That came out of the World Economic Forum. Stakeholder capitalism, it's all Klaus Schwab's idea. Well, it's actually Henry Kissinger's idea. Klaus just went, oh, right, I want to do that. Yeah, yeah. So what we are witnessing is a coup. And if your imagination can't kind of stretch to that, I'm telling you that they don't give a flying what you think and what you do. They're going ahead with their plan. It's a plan, not chaos. It's a plan. They're going ahead. They're going to collapse the democracies. So we might not even get to a general election in 2029. They're going to collapse it. They're going to collapse the fiat currencies. The banks are going to go on a run. Everybody that's got money in banks is going to end up sticking their heads up their asses and going, oh, I say, he told me about that 3 years ago. What do I do? My money's worthless. Buy gold. Buy gold, buy gold. Which part of, don't you understand, buy physical gold? Buy physical silver, because silver's going to go through the roof. Or buy crypto. Play their game. Now, I know you're going to say, but I don't understand crypto, Adrian. I don't. I can't give you any financial advice on this channel because I'm not a financial expert. But if the shit hits the fan, I can tell you what to do and how to do it. English bottle cap. Nailed it. Global pandemic, global coup. I'm going to ask you a question. What happened to Disease X? Just asking for a friend. What happened to disease X? Anybody? Remember the BBC? Remember the propaganda peddlers? Stephen Hall, Blofeld hasn't fallen out of favour. He's being caught out. Can't go into detail. He's being caught out. But it's, as I say about Starmer, what exactly have they got on Starmer that means he'll do exactly as he is told when he is told it? So ask about Klaus. What have they got on Klaus that means he's had to step away from one of the most powerful organisations in the world? No, I'm not going to tell you. English bottle cap, X morphed into Y. Tom Harney's, it got better. Correct, Terry. That's why they want digital IDs. They want digital IDs so they can control your crypto. But that's what cold wallets are for. So they're going to collapse the democracies. They're going to collapse the fiat currencies. The shit is going to hit the fan. Major league. Because they don't care whether we're fighting each other. Have you not seen society lately? Everybody's getting out of cars and going having a dance. Tommy Robinson, he's just minding his own business and some arsehole decides to have a bit of a do with him. And Tommy took care of business. It's everywhere. People are violent. They want chaos. They want people to be violent towards each other. Then when it really hits the fan, that's when the violence will get out of control. They don't want us armed. That's why they're going to have America, the crypto capital of the world. Alan says, ask Ike. I have. I've interviewed him. So what you are witnessing is a coup. I've told you we're at war. Whether it's a military coup or a governmental coup, it's still a coup. So the elite are at war with humanity. The devil-worshipping Satanists are at war with humanity. And it is going... And look, we've got AI. I mean... HMRC have even more powers. I know, Abby. They've got us every which way. And have you not worked out that they've done this very quietly, very gently, and very slowly? They've got us. We tried to do our best in 2020, March 2020, when we were all being told by Boris, going to lock you down. It's only for 5 or 6 weeks till we flatten the curve. And then it was 2 years, give or take. So it's not just our government. It's organisations that are using their power and powers. It's a power grab by the World Health Organization. I am going to explain to you what the World Health Organization is up to, along with the UN, along with the World Economic Forum, and along with the corrupt politicians that are everywhere. They're being bought. Now, they know what they've been up to. Starmer, Ginger Growler, Reeves, they know what they've been up to. They know what they're doing. This is not by accident, none of it. So they're going to collapse governance and legislation. So there'll be a massive big event, worldwide event. So how does that work out? Monkeypox? No, that's just a reaction to the jibber jabber. Haven't they told you that yet? Monkeypox, it's being reported on telly and in newspapers. Oh, monkeypox. Well, actually, you won't get monkeypox in this country. It's mainly Africa. Yeah, it's a reaction to the jibber jabber, because there are papers now appearing to say that monkeypox, pox, is a reaction to the jibber jabber. And you think they were trying to do good by this country? So what they're going to do, the people at the top, and I know more than I'm letting on for the moment, because I know some shit. And I can't say it because this channel will be taken down tomorrow. So what I'm doing is we're using varying ways of communicate together, you and I, adult conversations. We use words. That's all we use. We use words, adult conversations. And you get it. You get understanding, context, knowledge, understanding from me just talking shite. But I will say to you, not only are they going to collapse the democracies, for want of a better term, they're going to collapse the governance and legislation. So they will decide what the powers are. They will decide what the law is. But why would they do that? I'm going to tell you in a moment. What they're going to do is they're going to collapse governance and legislation into the digital monetary system and ultimately control. Now, hopefully I've made enough points and put that I can't think of the word. Hopefully you understand that now. Now, control will finally be in the grasp of the controllers. Not the fat controller, just the Satanists, the child-eating devil worshippers. And that's why these lives are always free. I don't monetize them because if it's monetized, I'm on a radar. If I'm telling you the truth, that's fine so long as it's not monetized. It's only when I don't want to tempt fate and or tug the tiger's tail, because I do this for free, I get it for free, and the English bottle cap, Lammy is the fat controller. He's David Lammy's Fat Lammy's gastric band. So the controllers, because they have the technology to do it, I can't impress upon you how serious August 21st is. The controllers, the control will be finally in the grasp of the controllers because they have the technology to do it. Now, if you think 100 years ago, they didn't really have the technology. Why do you think there's all these advances in AI and technology and computers? Because they needed those in place. If you look at the youth, that's them, the youth, all day, every day, that's it. Phone in front of face, that's it. So it's exactly the same as recreational gear sellers. You know who I'm talking about. What they do is they just give you a little bit, and then eventually you're hooked. You can't put the bloody phone down. They're walking blindly into horror. And the kids will, the 14 to 30-year-olds, it's only when we get to a place where they are controlled and have to do as they are told, they'll go, we didn't see that coming. No, you didn't, because you're too busy in all these different websites. I'm not putting myself on another radar. War is no longer about the bullet and the bomb. It's not. It's about crypto and resources. We've got AI. They're now talking about artificial general intelligence. And I'm telling you, when they break that wall, it will be artificial super intelligence weeks or months afterwards. So AI, the kids are early adapters. What they're doing is they're trying to write their pieces and their papers for their degrees and this and that and the other. So all the kids, they're in there thinking, bloody hell, how good is this? AI, it does all the work for me. Does it in 5 minutes. I'm not going to struggle for 9 months. Oh, wonderful. And us, we're going... Linda Lewis says, Behaviour Insights team, don't fall for their garbage. I know, that's why I'm doing this tonight. And probably tomorrow night. So we have AI at the moment, and it's really, really clever. It's adopting large language models and smaller language models so that it's just AI. But they're doing it at a pace where we will accept it. There's robots, you can buy them. It's going to be about $6,000 for one of these robots that runs around your house. It's like... I can't remember the name. The film. It'll come back to me when I don't think about it. But they need the digital IDs for AI, artificial general intelligence, which is the next step up, and then they reckon that it'll be a matter of weeks and or few months, if that artificial super intelligence, they'll be taking over everything. What do we need politicians for? Exactly. Do we want laws manifested and put in place? Just get AI to do it. Do we need to vote for it in the House of Commons? They're all fucking deviants and perverts. Just remember digital IDs, central bank digital currencies. It's all coming. It's the totalitarian tiptoe, to use David Icke's saying. Now, there's an exclusive group of bankers and industrialists at the very top, the technocrats, if you will. They will control what we eat, what we buy, where we travel, and where we live. So if you think you've got a roof over your head and you're going to pass it on to your kids, they'll find a way so that you can't. They want to take all of that. They want to take all of that support away. They want to make pensioners impoverished. It's really easy to see. But these technocrats, they want to bypass democratic elected representatives. So they want to bypass all of the politicians, because once they've got digital IDs, they can do what they want. And bankers, you know what the role of bankers is? Simple. Make money out of nothing. We all think, well, it's somewhere to keep our money, our 100, 200, 500 quid, £1,000, keep it safe in a bank. Can't get it out. And especially if you've got digital ID, they'll go, how much money did you put in there? They will be able to look at every single transaction on planet Earth, so they can decide whether you can buy stuff or you can't buy stuff. So the currency, so they want to bypass the democratic representatives. They are controlling and reducing the food we eat, and they want to commandeer land. Bill Gates is the biggest landowner, and he's creating 15-minute cities on the land that he's bought. So, I mean, this is not about money. This is about insane power. He's a eugenicist. He wants human condition to do as he is saying. Fuck. Bad Wolf has said, question, do you know the inherited wealth tax percentage is here in France? No. 60% of what you leave behind is now taken for tax. Leave 100. So, it is now taken for tax. So, out of 100 quid, Macron takes 60. That's what they're after. They don't want you to pass any wealth on. They don't. But the elite, tax avoidance, they simply so what's going to happen? The currency, the future currency, is going to be a system of credits that they control, not you. They control. Are you getting why digital ID is so bad for me and you? So they're going to have a currency, a system of credits. So to win the war, they take control, a bit like winning at war. Sorry, I'm tiring. To win the war, they're going to take control of food, energy, currency. And how are they going to do that? It's all built on the climate crisis. They're all going to build it worldwide on net zero. The only hope that we have is AI is going to come up with solutions before they can get us to 2027 or anywhere near 2030. They're going to say this is how you defeat net zero. Because net zero, in my view, and I've read bits of research about it, Ed Millipede. Can you not see why he's not in the newspapers? Can you not see why he's not on the telly? Can you see why he's not putting his head above the parapet? Because he's getting found out. AI knows that net zero is rollicks. It's all built on climate crisis because they believe we're going to be scared that the planet's just going to rot and humankind will be no more. But that's what they want. They want us to buy into the chaos. Jibber jabber, 2020, you getting it now? That was just a dress rehearsal. So if you've got no money, you've got no choice. So they are about to relinquish the traditional system of money and accounting. they're going to introduce something new. It's called the blockchain. That's going to give them the control, because you won't have the control of the blockchain. That will be left to governance, whoever decides to govern us. But I've told you, it is going to be a one world state. The blockchain for the controllers or the elite will control and record every single transaction in the economy. Every single transaction. You pay £1.40 for your morning papers, recorded. You spend £1,000 on doing something nefarious, all recorded. And what will be the control grid? It's going to be taxes. It's going to be control. So they're going to control your taxes. It's nearly 60%, as Bad Wolf Project says. Macron is taxing the inherited wealth at 60%. So the state takes 60%, you get 40%. Eventually that will go up. The age that you can retire, they're going to make you work yourself into the ground. And then they're going to try and get rid of the triple lock. Jackie Glasgow, they've already done that. You can only, Jackie says, here they're talking about taxing online cheap sales. They're already doing that. What they're doing is, if you make £1,000 on eBay or Vinted or some of the other places that you might be selling a little bit, they stop you. So digital IDs, you won't be able to sell anything online, because they'll be like, well, you've made £1,000, so that's enough for this financial year. You'll have to wait for the financial year next year. And what the controllers, with their control grid of taxes, thereby control, they want to allow targeted policy, functional policy, and the welfare payments. So all these people that are coming into this country, oh, they're fine. Don't worry, they're fine. The brown faces, they're making shit tons of money. Me and you, we're having to bust our buns on a daily basis to pay them for the freebies. Bad Wolf Project says, French increased age on retirement last year, hence the riots. Mind, the French kick off if the coffee is cold. I'm with you. I remember the lambs. So they are going to control what you eat. So they'll have this elite strata of the humankind, of society. And they will be eating anything that they want. Me and you, they'll come up with bugs. They've already told us. So they told us what they're going to do. That's the Satanists for you. They've told us what they're going to do. Jackie Glasgow says, but won't they end up in the same boat in the end? No, because the wealthy, there's a difference between rich and wealthy. Wealthy, no problem. You can do whatever you want, wherever you want. Have sex with whatever you want. Rich, your riches can be taken off you. And that's the whole point. They want the elite, small cabal. The elite want to have all of the taxes, all of the money, so they can go and fly in their private jets anywhere in the world. Net zero, like bloody the gruesome twosome, the Monty Shit Show. They're flying all over the globe, and they're talking about net zero, saving the planet. How do we in shite? Now, the central bank digital currencies will be targeted, so that the blockchain will tell whomever, Chinese Communist Party, how much you're spending, what you're spending it on, and how much the government can have out your arse. So the Bank for International Settlements, they are stating, and I'm quoting directly, we can control with rules. We no longer need money. So I'll explain again. The Bank for International Settlements, it's where all the central banks go to. We can control with rules. We no longer need money. So what you are heading towards is a digital concentration camp. You see, the best kinds of prisons are the ones the person doesn't realize they're in. So a digital concentration camp, you know what that is, don't you? Correct. Slavery. It's slavery. They want to enslave us depopulate the planet, have AI robots doing the really mundane stuff, because the AI robots won't see it as mundane. But remember the system that we have now, the fiat currency system. You work hard, save a bit of money, try and do your best over your lifetime, so that when you retire, you'll have a bit put by and you can go on nice holidays, or you can do whatever you want. So the incentive system that we currently had and have is working hard for the rewards of working hard. But what a digital ID is going to do to you, they can turn it on or off. They don't care. They'll turn it on or off. Depending, look, so if you work hard, you go to work 9 to 5 or 7 to 4 or whenever you go to work, you punch in, you punch out, you're working hard just to sell your time for money from the company that you work for. So we have laws in this place, we have laws in this country where they, if you're sacked for whatever reason, then you have some kind of recourse. But no, what they will be able to do with digital ID is turn it on or off, depending on your behavior in the last 5 minutes. So if you say you put in comments into the comment section of this live, and you say something to the effect of the Chinese Communist Party full of arseholes, that'll be sent up to wherever. They'll monitor that, and what they'll do is they'll turn your digital ID off, so you can't buy any food, you can't spend any money, you can't buy food or water or be able to live because of your behavior in the last 5 minutes. That's coming. They will monitor everyone. In fact, they've got that monitoring in China, where the kids wear headsets, and the kids are told, concentrate, otherwise you're in trouble. So what these headsets do is, if the child is not engaged with the teacher and or say the blackboard, and they're not concentrating on what they're being taught, they can just switch shit off. So literally, the slave is taught an education, and if their head goes down or they fall asleep, because sometimes kids do, poof, there you go, switch it off. Mummy and daddy can't feed you today because you've been an arsehole at school. So the digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, the Rothschilds want to own all the central banks. So the digital currency will be issued by the central banks. If you're not doing as a good slave is supposed to, you will be switched off. You won't be able to get the digital currency. It is totalitarian control, total control. And net zero is the bat that they're going to beat you with. You know, they'll be able to say, because of the blockchain, how many times have you been away on holiday this year? Well, I went to Spain-ish, and we haven't really had a holiday, but you've gone over your carbon footprint. How was your chicken cooked? What do you mean? In the oven. Ah, but that creates carbon emissions, so you can't do that. What about the bloody Chinese, though? They're burning coal left, right and centre. We're not talking about the Chinese. We're talking about you. Your carbon footprint is too large, so we're going to switch your digital ID off, and you're not going anywhere on holiday for the next 18 months. You've got no recourse, none, because the AI robot is, your name's not down, you're not coming in. So the digital IDs are going to become part of the digital public infrastructure. You think that this is not planned. It's not chaos. They don't kind of shuffle off and do things left, right and centre. I'm telling you that the digital IDs are part of a digital public infrastructure that will include healthcare, transportation, financial services. Nothing will be private. Nothing. You will have no privacy, and you'll be happy that you've got no privacy. Digital ID will mean, will you be able to get healthcare? Can you go to the local A&E? No. If your digital ID switched off, how do you prove who you are? You have a medical emergency. You can't go to hospital. I know this sounds frightening. I do understand this and get this, but we've only got a month to save the world. And if you think that I'm bullshitting you, just wait. Just wait. Nothing will be private. Your financial health, your physical health, and transportation. You won't be able to get on a bus or a train or any common modes of transport. You won't be able to use your car. They won't allow you to get any petrol. And you don't think this is coming? This country voted in Sir Keir Starmer. Are you getting it now? So the digital prison that we're all going to go into, that's me as well as you, it's going to be controlled by facial recognition. Facial recognition. Now, I've told you before, facial recognition has probably improved some, but the people that facial recognition doesn't recognize the faces of, anybody with a beard. No, the bloody wonder they wear a beard. And I'm not talking Prince Edward. I'm talking like a proper beard, not Hollywood beard. So remember, the iPhone and other phones have got your fingerprints. The iPhone has your facial recognition, and they've got it all stored. No, that bloody wonder. Labour wanted Apple to give them all of the background data that they own on us, me and you. If you've got an iPhone or any other mobile phone, most people have now. Nicholas says, and all in the body of the Kirk, please make a note, read this book, The Traveller by John 12 Hawkes. Okay, cheers, Nicholas. Now, as dystopian as this sounds, I'm telling you this so that you get ahead of the game. So facial recognition is going to be how they control you. They've already got it in China. The Chinese are so far ahead of the rest of the world. So far ahead. Bartering. Yeah, well, we might have to go back to that. But they're getting us ready for what is coming down the pipeline. They'll use facial recognition to start. They've got the fingerprints and the facial recognition as to exactly who you are. But smartphones, smart speakers. Look at Alexa. She's listening all the time. Oi, Alexa, tart. That's because I've unplugged the... So I want to talk to you about smart cities. So we have smartphones that just feed back to Apple, and that's why the Labour Party wanted all the data from Apple around what we're doing and how we're doing it. They wanted the smartphones to give them the data. We've got smart speakers when you shout of Alexa. So the smart networks create a network within your home. You know that there are certain intelligence agencies that can work out who's in your house by the data that my phone and Alexa are sending to them 24/7. They know how many people's in this room. The totalitarian tiptoe, I don't know how he says it off his tongue all the time, David Icke. Apple says, naff off. Yeah, I know they did, Alan. They told Sir Keir Starmer to stick where the Fun Boy 3 don't shine. But you know the 15-minute cities? They're now not calling them 15-minute cities because they know it's making people nervous. Bill Gates is going to build them, give the housing away for free, so long as he's got the blockchain and he's got your money. Don't care. I mean, I am hoping that he shuffles off soon. He's of an age where he could. But these smart cities, they've got something called geofencing. Remember Logan's Run, where you had to die at 32. You couldn't get to your 33rd birthday, but they will have a celebration and then kill you off. Well, they got through the wall into the outside world. That geofencing is an electronic wall. It is a smartphone wall. Beyond that wall, and this is a Black Mirror episode from the recent series, where a woman had physical ailments and she needed medication and medicines, and the minute she got past a particular point, she just fainted. She couldn't. And they put implants in her so that when she got past the outskirts of her particular town, boof, and in Black Mirror, that was all about geofencing. It's the Logan's Run effect. They will control you. It's an invisible fence around you and your 15-minute city, if you wish. So things stop working beyond the fence. That's coming. It's called geofencing. It's already a thing. It's already out there. So what the masters of the world, or the universe, masters of the universe, what they're developing is a world of zero trust. And I'm going to take my time around this. The reason why they want a world of zero trust means you always have to verify who you are. Now, should we pause a second and ask what the fuck happened on Friday? Oh, yes, it's about the kids. Yeah. We can't have the kids seeing stuff on the internet, internet. It's not about the kids. They are creating a society of zero trust. So if you wanted to go, I don't know, off the top of my head, you wanted to go to some dating site, or you wanted to go to some naughty sites, you just have zero trust. You always have to verify who you are. It's like having, your digital wallet and your digital ID and your digital. So they're going to make it inconvenient for you and tell you, here's the solution to a problem you didn't realize you had. You can't access the internet until you verify who you are. You can't go to individual websites until you verify who you are. O2, when I got me first or second iPhone, I think 2009, got the iPhone when it came out in 2008. Upgraded in 2009, 2010, and I got it from O2, and I was doing some research, but it was gambling. So I was trying to get the odds on. Say recently, I told you that the odds on Yvette Cooper being the next Prime Minister is 11-1, and you can get 11-1 on Wes Streeting becoming the next Prime Minister. There was a point where I had to call O2 and say, look, this is me. I'm a lot older than 18 or however old I need to be. Yeah, exactly, Vix Text. Leave the kids alone. Hey, teacher. And they said, oh, right, okay. We understand that you were trying to access gambling sites. I said, right. I said, that's my right. I'm doing research on something that I'm doing that I'm going to present, and I need to access the gambling websites. And if it's on Wi-Fi, my Wi-Fi at home stops me from accessing it. I had to come off the Wi-Fi. I then had to go onto my 5G to be able to get the odds on somebody becoming the next Prime Minister of this country. But they thought I was gambling. So I can see what's going on and what they're trying to do, because I had that when I was trying to get the odds of Yvette Cooper and Wes Streeting becoming the next Prime Minister. That's what they're after. They are after zero trust. So every single website that you go on, you have to verify who you are. And how are they going to do that? Digital ID. They're going to create a solution to a problem you didn't know you had. And you're going to have to prove who you are 24/7. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year. You're going to have to zero trust, always verify, proving who you are. And do you know what's caused this? The online safety bill. I mean, what they've done to Farage, linking him to Savile, nasty bastards. That Labour Party needs to be gone. Gone. This is politics. I understand the cut and thrust, but aligning Nigel Farage with Jimmy Savile, what the actual... There are people in the Labour Party who were friends with Jimmy Savile. That's all I'm going to say. And that deviant fucker that came out with it, he needs to go into the mainstream media and apologise, but they're not going to do that, because that's the sign that they're scared shitless about Farage and reform. But we're all just sitting here. We're just waiting for the opportunity to get rid of these morons. They haven't got it. They're living in the Westminster bubble. They haven't got it. So they're developing, this government is developing, zero trust. Always verify who you are. Zero trust is simply a world of locks. Do you understand now? If you can't verify who you are, you're locked into that position. Facial recognition, it's a prison of their making, not yours. So what's the master plan? We're getting close to it. I'm getting very tired, so I want to bring this to a conclusion quickly. So what's the master plan? I've told you all the detail. I've told you what you're going to do, and I've told you how they're going to do it. The master plan kind of started with the Paris Climate Agreement, Agenda 2030, the United Nations have 17. Now, go and have a look. They have 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or they've shortened them. They love an acronym. They've shortened them to SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So the UN's agenda is the roadmap to tyranny. These organizations, they want control of it. The United Nations, the blue caps. So, when all these politicians, please do not trust a single word that comes out of a politician's gob. Please don't. Because they're saying to you, we need to get rid of the European Convention for Human Rights. How many times have you heard that? How many politicians, how many leaders of political parties? We need to get rid of the European Convention for Human Rights. You know why, don't you? Exactly. Zero trust. Always verify. They want rid of the European Convention for Human Rights. Totalitarian control. Once that's gone, do you think they're going to put anything else in place? Don't be so fucking stupid. They've got you by the nads. August 21st. I mean, if this doesn't make you angry, what the fucking hell? What have I got to do? They want to control everything, everywhere. It's that simple. They want to control, I'll say it again, they want to control everything, everywhere. So they're talking about being able to qualify the natural world, mountains, grass, air. They want to qualify everything and make it valuable so that they can trade it. I've told you before, what do banks do? They create money out of nothing, thin air. They want to objectify thin air and trade it so that they make money from thin air. You won't get it. It's the banks. It's the central banks, and they've only got 6 left. Syria's done. Iran's almost done. But you have to remember those countries, because when it lands up in the mainstream media, you know exactly what they're up to. So the natural assets of the world, worth £5 quadrillion. 5 quadrillion. So as I've said to you before, banker's job, creating money from nothing. Sounds like a Dire Straits song. But I want you to understand Sir Keir Starmer and his place in all of this. You are aware the Trilateral Commission is a very dark, that's all I'm going to say, a very dark organisation. And oh, fuck me sideways. There's Sir Keir Starmer. He was a member of the Trilateral Commission, one of only 2 politicians to ever be a member of the Trilateral Commission. And what they want, the Trilateral Commission, because they're all at it, they're all vying for power, the Trilateral Commission want to create a new economic order. Central banks want to control the money. There are other organisations, the United Nations want to control the food. Well, the crickets that you're going to eat in 10 years. 2030, it's not that far away. What the fuck are you waiting for? So you've got an organisation called the Trilateral Commission. It's very dark. And tomorrow night on the live, I will go deeper into the Trilateral Commission. I will go darker into the Fabian Society, because Tony Blair and Sir Keir Starmer and loads of others are part of the Fabian Society, including Sadiq Khan, Mayor Carnage. So Rockefeller's philanthropy has made money, the family. My voice is going. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are kind of the people that look after the Rockefeller's philanthropy. So Agenda 2030, the ultimate goal is to, and I quote, you've all heard it, build back better. So COVID, I can say the word COVID, the Charlie word, now, because I won't get done for it. As Lord Wookfit says, you do realise the Magna Carta did absolutely naff all for the peasants. It was written by barons to protect barons. Only 4 of the original clauses are still valid today. There were 60-odd clauses. And I've seen one of the original Magna Cartas in the House of Parliament. So, Build Back Better, where did that come from? Klaus Schwab. Where did he come from? Well, between his knees normally, but where did he come from? World Economic Forum. And oh, look at who's at the front, waving the flag, the World Economic Forum. So can you see all of these nefarious organisations? The World Economic Forum wants to run the world. You've got the Rothschilds wanting to run the central banks. You've got the Rockefeller philanthropy running the IMF and the World Bank. They're all at it. They're all vying for power, but it's soft power. Nobody sees what's going on. So Agenda 2030, the ultimate goal. So I'm being facetious here. Are bankers raising money to fund the UN's Agenda 2030? Well, it's like a Trojan horse to infiltrate and change the world's financial systems. So there's going to be a battle that me and you might not see, but I'm asking you about the bankers who want to control the central bank digital currencies. I want to talk about the bankers who make money from nothing. The bankers are raising money to fund the Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030, they want that putting in to me and you. They want, they've got all these parts, I think it's 17 parts to the UN's Agenda 2030. And that is going to be the Trojan horse that's put into the middle of every single family and community and country around the world. Because this is not just, little England, and we're going to go fighting with the Americans or the French or whomever. This is every single country on planet Earth. They did that in 2020. Did you never ask the question, how did we have an epidemic that went worldwide? It was the rehearsal. Honest Review says, high-profile Fabians, Brown, Blair, Khan, Starmer, Miliband, and Nandi. Yep, we'll talk about the Fabian Society more tomorrow. But I've said to you, it's all about stakeholder capitalism, which has come out of Klaus Schwab's gob and out of the World Economic Forum. And you know that you've got Blair and Larry Fink. I mentioned him as the chief executive officer of BlackRock earlier. You've got Blair and Larry Fink on the board of the World Economic Forum, and they've kicked out the guy that created it. Now, either he's got a bit lippy and he said to them, look, it's my ball, I'm taking it away, you're not playing footy. Or they've gone, here, Klaus, mate, we know what you're up to. Not saying any more than that, because it's too dangerous. So you've now got, if you look at the amount of money that was made in the lockdowns, the COVID response, 2020, all the way through for 2 years, or eat out to make out to, I don't know what it was, eat out to whatever it was, or save the NHS, or do this. They were controlling us. They were making us think we're doing the right thing, we're doing whatever we need to do. The Tomb Piper, I trust everything Adrian is saying too, because I took part in the Occupy events back in 2010, 2011, 2030, there were rumours about all this back then, which is part of the reason Occupy events happened. Thank you, the Tomb Piper. This is all, and everything that I'm telling you tonight is in the public domain. But nobody really has the wherewithal to be able to put it together so that everybody understands. Because as the Tomb Piper says, if everybody understood, they'd be on the bloody streets of this country. In lockdown, for Charlie 19, because I'm still a bit nervous about using the word, the wealth transfer in this country amounted, and worldwide, amounted to trillions. As the Tomb Piper says, join the dots, folks. And I think, to be fair, the Tomb Piper, they're all, the audience here are here because of this very thing. They want to know how and where. And maybe we do more, the Tomb Piper. If you've been involved in the Occupy and standing up for the people of this country, maybe we should have a conversation away from here. But look, the pandemic boom for these big businesses, the tech giants, their profits soared. They went through the roof. Now, I'm going to tell you what they're going to do to you. And then I'm going to I think I'll leave that until tomorrow. It's a deeper dive into the World Economic Forum. But I am going to tell you now. This is the most important part of everything that I've told you, excluding, of course, digital ID, which we only have 1 month to save the world and this country, your children, your grandchildren, me, my family, digital IDs. We need to have a look at that and stop these corrupt politicians deciding that we are merely inconvenient eaters. Do you want to know what they're doing? What COVID was about? Do you want to know what they've done subsequently over the last 5.5 years? The government worldwide is de-patterning the mind. They are weaponizing deception. Do you not? I'll ask you a question. You don't have to answer it in the comments. But how's your reality been for the last 5 years? Has your reality been feeling a little strange since 2020? Has your reality been feeling a little threatening for 2020? It's all planned. They are de-patterning your mind. They are weaponizing deception. It is what they're doing, the de-patterning the mind, is well-known in military, well-known military tactics. Well-known. So the stuff that you see on the TV, some of it is very well-known. Psychologically, it's very well-known military tactics, but they are de-patterning your mind. All the things that you... and this is why you're feeling a little strange. This is why you're feeling a little threatened by things. It just... nothing seems real. Nothing seems normal. They're de-patterning your mind, so you will do as you are told. Can you remember the messaging? Do this, save the NHS, blah, 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 blah. The messaging is clever. I'm sure a lot of people watching tonight will have been talking to their families. What do we do? How do we do it? What can we do? How do we get food? I mean, people in the street. I'm talking about lockdown because that was the rehearsal. That was the rehearsal for this. And we've only got, I mean, they want it in place by 2027. The minute digital ID is in place, you watch how quickly they ramp everything up and they ramp the controls up. Oh, don't worry. You don't need a, no. You don't need a passport anymore. You know, we've got all these people that have come into the country. We'll give them digital IDs. The Labour Party, fucking communists, the Marxists, the arseholes in red, the quicker that Jeremy Corbyn gets in, the better to get these idiots, these moronic prats out of the House of Commons. Ozempic Palace. Because they're not looking after the first rule of government is you protect the people. They don't care. They just want private planes at 75 grand a shot to go and watch some football match with women kicking bags of wind around. So can you remember the messaging? No job. Sorry, no jab, no job. Can you remember that? There were businesses, some of them have been sold subsequently because well, they're in the shite, basically. No jab, no job. And remember the messaging? Take the jibber jabber to protect others. Turns out it was bullshit. Turns out that it was those taking the jibber jabber that were at most risk from the jibber jabber, not the Charlie 19, none of that bollocks. Remember, protect others, protect your gran. Somehow, it protected all of the politicians, the Hancocks of this world, the Johnsons of this world, who didn't wear bloody masks. Oh, the masks. Yeah, remember that. I'm being facetious. Warmelion says, I will never forget French Prime Minister Sarkozy telling the French people, you must all mix with non-white people. he was removed from power shortly after and never explained. I bet he didn't. Never explained, never complained. Terry's right. Lord Wookfit says to Andrew James, one day you will need a passport to exit your 15-minute city if they get their way. That's what I've been saying to you tonight. This digital ID is the most evil thing that they're trying to introduce. And remember, they're evil because they said it would flatten the curve back in 2020. Didn't. So, forgive me, my voice is getting very sore. Who else is in at it? Who else is on it? And who else is going to... Well, I'll tell you, you've got United Nations, you've got the World Economic Forum, the WHO, not the WHO, not the film The WHO, the World Health Organization. Now, remember, there was a little while ago, and to give Nigel Farage his credit, he was on it saying, we're not going to sign that, we can't sign that. That's a pandemic treaty. It gives all the power away to the World Health Organization. They are going to implement, the World Health Organization, they are going to implement international health regulations. Oh, fan my brow, where have I heard that lately? On the bloody British Airways plane on Sunday, when I was flying out of the country, they said, oh, we're going to spray the cabin, according to international health regulations. And I was sitting there in my seat going, which ones? Which ones? They don't tell you that. King Captain should have been dragged out of that cockpit and told to fuck off home. International health regulations, it will have been the... Well, forgive my potty mouth tonight, because it's getting me aerated, because I understand the gravitas of what I'm telling you. And it just saddens me. It really winds me up. Because a lot of people... We had nearly 300 people watching tonight. And I've got 220 odd. If you could smash the likes, if you haven't already, because I've spent a lot of time doing this for you, if you could smash the likes to get me over 200, that really, really, really would help the channel a lot. But the World Health Organization, they're going to use international health regulations to stop you and I doing whatever we want. They tried it in the COVID, Charlie 19 and Jibber Jabber farce. They want a pandemic treaty running worldwide. This is not just for this country, it is worldwide. But I've told you many times before, look at Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and now us. They're all left-wing governments ruled by the World Economic Forum. So the World Health Organization is going to have a One Health initiative. What is that, Adrian? Well, they're going to rule over climate, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems. So, in essence, I would suggest that the World Health Organization needs to rebrand itself as the World Vaccine Organization. It's all about profit, profit, profit. They're narrowing things down so that we'll just do as we're told. As I say, the World Health Organization, it was that kind of that benign organization that just looked after health, really. Well, they're not now. They want to look after climate and everything that entails, animals and everything that entails. Bovar, anyone? Have you forgotten about that? The farting injections, cows, and what they're putting in our food chain? Yeah, the World Health Organization wants to look after that. Plants. So we're not going to get anything natural from the environment or the world, because the World Health Organization will be telling you, no, you can't have that. You can, so Oscar, the ecosystems, the trees, the water, the plants, the whole system, they want to oversee it. So the World Health Organization need to have control of this. So I would suggest that there was a shit ton of pandemic profiteering from 2020 onwards. Some people, I mean, I only need to give you 2 words. Michelle Moan, 30 million. Nice. Jackie Glasgow, I'm with you. I mean, I don't take dairy on board anymore. I try and get organic dairy to avoid Bovaer. So the World Health Organization, they want a One Health initiative. You've got the UN looking after those 17 points which I'll talk about more tomorrow. And now you've got the Rothschilds wanting all the central banks, but they need the WHO, the World Health Organization, to be pivotal in that so that nobody looks at the bankers. Nobody checks them out. All wars or bankers' wars, nobody checks them out and gets what they're doing and what they're up to. So they're all of these systems, the UN, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, they're all heavily backed by vested interests, the bloodlines, the people who just want extraordinary wealth and want to run the planet. I mean, how evil is that? So vested interests in the WHO, the World Health Organization, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, I know, because I've done this on other lives in the past, that Tony Blair was given donations for the Tony Blair Foundation by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Why the could they do that? How here, Bill? I would suggest Bill Gates, one of the most evil human beings there ever has been. And there's been quite a few in history. As I said to you earlier, remember Disease X? Remember monkeypox? He wants our children to be vaccinated so many bloody times. I mean, they say, oh, well, it's for the kids. It's for the kids. Yeah, it's for the kids. No, it's not. It's for profit. We've seen right through him. It's for profit, which is why he stopped doing interviews here, there, and everywhere. Because we've seen right through him. We're awake now. Andrew James says, I do wonder if MPs watch the Rev. Wouldn't surprise me. They're morons. But just want to ask you a question, if anybody knows this, because I didn't have time to research it. Did the UK Parliament vote through the new pandemic treaty from the World Health Organization? I know there was quite a bit of it. They were debating it because, you know, they're all tossers. They'll mass debate anything. So you want to know, don't you? You want the answer. So I'm gonna please stay for just 2 minutes, because I'm going to say this. Some of it I'm sure you're already aware of, and I'm not some kind of nutter from America, because I'm going to give you a really simple answer. And most of the people, and no, Elaine, you need to stay for another 60 seconds or so, because I'm going to give you the answer to everything. Those that are here and have stayed understand what I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do is create a community. A community of critical thinkers who may have understood some of the bits that I've told you tonight, may understand, yeah, I heard that before. I'm aware of the World Health Organization or UN and their 17 points and all of that, and the Rothschilds and the bloodlines and all of that. Yeah, I'm aware, but it's putting it together. And that's why we need a community like this. If they get sniff of it, well, I'm not going to tempt fate. But do you want to know how to fuck the system? Community, community, community. We'll all have each other's backs. Right, okay, thank you, Terry. So I know I've said this to you before. Grow your own food. Why would I say that? Am I making more work for you? No, it's not necessarily just growing your own food. It is to facilitate using your own seeds. So you grow it, let it go, and then you have the seeds. And it's the seeds that you need, because soon enough GMOs will make sure from supermarkets and stuff that you can't bring on your food. So grow your own food. And the reason why community is what I want to do is I want to start a little community channel that nobody knows about except the community here, and we'll help each other, because I know people will be looking at me going, yeah, Adrian, how do we in shape, man? I don't know how to grow my own food. Neither do I, but I'm going to give it a go, because this is rebellion. This is fucking the system. That what they have in Antarctica or somewhere, they have every seed known to man, and they've And Toon Piper, learn how to forage too. Exactly. So what I want to do is I want to start a little channel where we can just chat amongst ourselves. Or I'm going to try and grow potatoes. Or I'm going to try this and I'm going to try that. And everybody mostly is in the UK. So the weather is almost the same. So seeds, food seeds, will be the enemy of the state because they won't be able to control you. And if you can get into having a plot from the council, because what the councils will do eventually is they'll take all their land away from everybody, so you won't be able to grow your own. But if you've managed to get seeds and you've put them away and you can keep them away, we can all advise each other. We can keep each other sane. We community. And not, I don't want any dummy spitters like, oh, I asked you, and no, look, we'll all get something wrong. We all get things wrong. But if you grow your own food and facilitate using your own seeds, the seeds will be the enemy of the state. They will not be able to control you in any way, shape or form if your food on your table is coming out of the ground. Take a greater interest in what your children are being taught. All this nonsense that they're being taught at school, that mind control shit. Now, if you can homeschool them, that's what I would suggest you do, because then the political classes can only get so much influence. If you're helping to take a greater interest in what your children are being taught and or homeschool them, that is the enemy of the state. This is all I'm telling you. Is it straight? Fuck the system. Fuck the system. God, Jesus, I sound like NWA. Turn off your telly. Come here regularly when I'm doing these lives. Come here because I do my best to give you stuff that the mainstream media are not giving you. I do a shit ton of work around doing my research and getting all my stuff for you so that you get stuff that you can't get anywhere else. So turn your telly off. Do not buy, do not read the bullshit in the propaganda peddlers, the newspapers. Try and eat clean as best you can. If you're growing your own food and you're putting it on the plate out of your ground, then you can eat clean. As little processed food as possible. And exercise. Look, just go for a walk. Walking. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the converted here, but eat clean, exercise, grow your own food, take a greater interest in your kids. And look, when your kids grow up, they'll thank you for it. They're not interested in how much money you've got in the bank. They're not interested in all that other stuff. Time with your children gives them greater tools to survive and thrive life. And get out of the house and interact with other human beings. I love the fact that we've got this community. And, you know, we get some idiots every now and again. But mostly we're looking after each other. Now, like I say, I don't want you to think, oh, bloody hell, he's gone all tree hook and hippie on us. Not at all. There is something very special. When we were in lockdown, and I say to you again, this was all practiced in 2020 to 2023. We weren't even allowed out the house. There were people where I live that were lending their dogs out because you could go out. If you had a dog, you could take the dog for a walk. So people were just fighting the system going, do you want to take the dog for a walk? Oh, yeah, brilliant. So get out of the house and interact with other human beings, wherever, however that is. And do what humans do best. Love. Because I know the moral indignation when you come on here, when we've seen stuff like Southport 1 year on or Southport when it actually happened. Most people were absolutely, abjectly horrified. But what we do here regularly is just, I'll have a bit of a Mickey take every now and again. It's a community of like-minded people. You don't find that anywhere. But if you can get out of the house and interact, even if you're just walking down the street. I mean, obviously, there's some nutters around. But I always say hello to anybody who walks past me. Morning, afternoon. And they obviously think, oh, there's the nutter, local nutter. But sometimes somebody might be struggling. And we've had that here, where somebody's struggling and just a kind word or just a hello. We don't know what other people are struggling with. So just being aware of others and helping others. And if you can help me, I just need 2 likes smashing and we get to 200. So if you could do that, I really would help massively. Jackie Glasky says, I said at the time this is a trial to see if people would comply. I didn't, as due to personal experiences. I realised the whole thing was shite. I'm so glad that you're here, Jackie. Yeah, Rusty's roamings. It's nice to be nice. Thank you to everyone who smashed the likes. So I'm going to do more of this with deeper dives into the UN, World Health Organization, some of the usual suspects, because I want you to know some of the horrible, dark histories with these people and these organizations, what they've been involved with. Because this is kind of, I've just done the top line tonight, and I've nearly done 3 hours. So thank you to everyone that's stayed with me tonight. This is important. And those of you that listen afterwards, or watching this or listening to this while you're walking the dog, please just stay with it. But I will do more tomorrow night. I think we'll do another live at 7:30 for maybe an hour or so tomorrow night. Because I would need to go to 4 hours. And I think, to be fair, for all our mental health, we need to just kind of chill, go to bed, enjoy the evening, and just, as they say at the end of Crime Watch, don't have bad dreams. We're the humankind. And look, Captain T. Kirk, he flew around the universe, taking on aliens, and he always won. So whatever happens with these politicians, we're always going to win. We'll have the kids on our side. They're brilliant with tech. VPNs. The minute the stuff came out on Friday, everybody's got a VPN. Brilliant. So let's all just work together. And we'll see you tomorrow night here, 7:30. And we'll do more deep dives. And whatever I've missed in the news cycle today, we'll do it again tomorrow night. So be well, stay safe. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. I hope you've enjoyed the free Battenberg and Alter wine. Nobody's fallen over yet. But wherever you go, be well, stay safe. And don't forget the Battenberg. And by the way, just in case you want to know, this is not a show. This is a mission. And we go again tomorrow night, Thursday night, 7:30. Be there if you can. Speak to you later.